That is the introduction.
Good afternoon.
Grand Risings.
How's everyone doing? Good afternoon, good day, good evening, good waking up time. And then he said it then. Say it. Good. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's well and happy on this Saturday. I can't believe it's Saturday, man. Can you believe it's Saturday?
No, this week went real fast.
Saturday, the 23rd of July, 2022.
Yeah.
It's my birthday 2 months today.
Wait, in 2 months today, it's your birthday, right?
2 months today, 23rd of September.
Don't tell me I missed your birthday.
No, 23rd, September. So exactly 2 months today. I don't think my birthday is on a Saturday, but yeah. So it's rapidly approaching, man, which it's just, yeah, this year's gone very, very quickly.
Is that Ruby?
Yeah.
Okay,
Ruby.
I thought it was my cat, so I was just having a moment.
No, he's just come in, decided to announce it. It was like, there's food there, but that's the food that you put there last night, and I didn't eat it all, and I don't want what's left. I want you to give me new food, please. Not this stale shit. And I'm like, yeah, you're gonna eat that, mate. I'm sorry.
Actually, I have to. My cat will get real needy in that way, and she'll end up constantly asking for fresh food when there's plenty in her bowl. Yeah. Like a little fresher. So what I was actually doing is I would sprinkle just barely the fresh stuff so she could get the smell, and then I'd mix it in so she has to dig to get it and end up eating a good amount of the old stuff. Yeah. Works like a charm.
Ruby's just like, the way he looks at me is he'll take a bite and he'll sort of he sort of chews it like, and he looks at me like, this
That's not what I wanted.
This tastes of cockroach shit. There's been cockroaches in my dinner. Because most of the time I remember to put the lid on it. When he's walked away, I'll put the lid on it. But I don't always get it, you know? And
yeah.
Like at night, when he comes in at 2 o'clock in the morning and wakes me up because he wants me to take the lid off his food. So I get up, go and take the lid off his food and get back into bed and go back to sleep. And then I don't put the lid back on his food. And then in the morning, when he goes to his food, there's cockroaches on it. So, you know.
It's a good thing. Well, they don't carry disease, right?
No, I don't see how they possibly could. I've thought about this. They live in my room. They don't go anywhere. They were born in my room and they live in my room. And they don't go any further than my room. And if they do, they certainly don't come back again.
Do you have them named? Do you know them by their markings?
Well, I mean, the first generation, yeah, but after that, it just got a bit ridiculous. I kind of ran out of names. Sure. I mean, I've had to call. There's plate and spoon, and and, knife and fork. But
do you have a family tree somewhere? Is it on the wall? Did you just take pencil and?
I'm sure they've got one somewhere. There's a town hall behind the TV. Maybe they've got something up in there. But there is a little ecosystem here, you know?
Yeah.
This little ecosystem. They were born here. You know, it's like asking them to leave. I'm asking them to leave, and they're like, "Are you kidding? I've been here. My family's been here for 7 generations." My dad was born here. His father was born here before him. My great grandpappy came over on a shoe.
He walked 3 days in the snow.
Hey, cockroach in Tenerife. But
yeah, there was snow. There was snow back then. All right.
Cockroach.
It's called a pole shift. Look it up.
It was when I was stood too close to the refrigerator. It's pretty warm here. I don't think there's ever been. No, there's snow up on the mountains, man. It was snowing up on the mountains. I went up.
Can you tell me why ants? Can you tell me why ants survive microwaves?
Because they're like little ninjas.
I have heated up food in the microwave without realizing there were ants in there. Opened up the microwave and they're running around.
Well, cockroaches also survive. You know that.
That's interesting.
Cockroaches don't get killed in a microwave.
And I know
I think maybe it depends on how long you zap them for. But
so are they radiation resistant?
Well, cockroaches are meant to be the ones that will. Cockroaches and mosquitoes are what would. I always remember when back in the 90s when I was reading Stephen King, Rats and Lair and Domain.
Yeah.
They're talking about, it's the cockroaches that survived the nuclear holocaust. Cockroaches and flies and insects and mosquitoes.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Survive a holocaust and potentially mutate as a result of. But I don't believe any of that bullshit. Not that they would mutate into anything more dangerous to us. It would be more dangerous to it would be a mutation that wouldn't help the species.
Yeah.
They die as a result of it, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, listen, I was going to say this is a really good way to start off a random discussion. And thank you guys for.
Has anybody seen Joe's apartment?
Whose apartment?
Yeah, with the guy from Sliders. The guy from Sliders. Do you remember Sliders?
Yeah, I didn't. What was it? I don't think I actually ended up watching the whole thing. I only saw a couple episodes here and there, I feel like. I can't remember. I've only seen. What was that on? Was that on the Sci-Fi Channel? Wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it sort of bopped around, but yeah.
Yeah, what happened, I think, is that I only saw a couple episodes, and then I think my sister tried to get me into it, sister-in-law, and then I couldn't get access to it at some point because, the Sci-Fi Channel it was, no longer available on cable, At one point, that all got, you had to pay extra or whatever. And anyway, so I remember it, and I kind of do remember the concept because, right, they're sliding through dimensions, correct?
Yeah, basically, through through dimensions. But they're like the parallel universes, aren't they? They're sort of parallel dimensions or something where something's different. Same concept as Quantum Leap. But the guy, so the guy from Sliders was the main protagonist in Joe's apartment, where he is friends with the cockroaches, and he talks to he actually talks to them and stuff. They're intelligent, sentient beings, and because the thing is, American cockroaches, the reason they're so creepy, scary, horrible is because they
eat McDonald's.
So aware. They're so aware. They look at you, and and they're so skittish. It's like they know you want to kill them, so they run away. So it's like their life preservation. They're very, very aware of themselves.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can cut them in quarters. You could cut them into quarters, and each quarter will continue to live for about 3 or 4 days afterwards.
Yes, I know that. That's crazy. You want to say hi to everyone?
Yes. Yes. Let's say hi to everyone. How are you doing?
Hi.
Hello, Captain. How much? Oh,
Hey, am I cutting out? I'm not cutting out anymore, right now with the new mic.
You weren't cutting out anyway. I don't think. Sarah's
This
got a
is
new microphone. If anybody can
whoop,
tell,
whoop,
she's got a new
whoop, whoop.
mic.
Yeah. Now I
It
can
sounds really
sing and
good.
make you all feel real awkward.
It's really no. It is really good though. It's nice and clear.
Yeah, I can tell like the pickup already, and I'm really thankful because I just felt like my voice was, and other people were saying that to me too, that my voice was really garbled and it was hard to hear me. Like think the last couple of streams now, so I was like, all right, it's time. I gotta do it.
It sort of goes like it's sort of slightly underwater or something. You know, it's like when it's built-in microphone picking up all the ambient noise and everything. So anyway,
And
shout out to chat room.
Yeah.
Sorry, Three Fingers. How you doing? First one in.
Hey, Three Fingers.
And Mindful Exposures. How you doing there? The Magic Tree House. Good to see you.
Yeah,
as always.
it's good. Yeah, always right. Sherry.
How you doing? And Lizzo. Squirrel Sniper. Good to see you, sir.
How's the sniping?
I'm an advocate for squirrels, but you know, it just goes to show you. See, I don't.
Well, what if he is a squirrel? He's a squirrel that is sniping. That's what I like to envision. Like he's wearing a little get up and he's got, set up in the tree and he's taking out the bad guys.
Okay, and the thing is, like, what if the squirrels are working for the government? So fair play, you know. MI5 squirrels.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure
either or, right?
MI6 have been training the squirrels up to collect information, data on the civilians. So fair play. He's like the Bond. He's the squirrel nemesis. Reverend Ho, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Is that a bit of garlic?
Indigo Day. Indigo. Hi guys.
I love indigo. One of my favorite colors. Brian, oi.
I do like that name a lot. And Brian, hope you're feeling good today. Sending you lots of love.
I love drooling on my. Oh God. Yeah, but it only really works. Unless you've got a stick like saliva, only really, for meat and stuff. It only really works on pastries.
Oh, I'm gonna throw up a little bit. Baby Bird's method, right?
Hey. Say that again.
I just said Baby Bird method, which.
Is that you're thinking of feeding baby birds, aren't you? I was thinking
I
was thinking that he was eating more like like flies do. They regurgitate onto the food and it breaks it down, and then they suck it up with their.
Yeah.
Remember The Fly? Do you remember watching The Fly?
Yes, that movie. Because I watched it at a young age again. I watched a lot of movies I shouldn't have at a young age, and it was pretty disturbing.
Bill Bacon, how you doing? Yeah, no Rumble link because we're not on Rumble. I mean, we
can't go live.
We are going to get back on Rumble, but we can't go on there live at the moment because you need to subscribe. You need to pay monthly, basically. Nathan, how you doing, sir? And Penny, love you, Pen.
Hey,
when are you going to get your dad to bring you over to Tenerife, Pen? I think I've got everyone. I have. We haven't got that many people in. Only 10 people.
I don't know if I said hi to Bill. I don't think I did. Thanks for being here on a Saturday, impromptu. We're still going to do our Sunday show tomorrow. We discussed, but Richie felt like going live, and I had some time. I want to get out in the sun again, but other than that,
yeah, I felt like going live because when you're just going to hang out with friends.
Yep.
you don't really. There's nothing really you want to talk about. You just want to go and hang out with your mates. So it's kind of in that vein, really, more than anything. There's nothing specific that I want to talk about. I just I'm sick of sitting here not being able to talk because because there's no one there listening.
Yeah, I thrive with this too, like I've told you, because I can't actually. I have to mentally choose my truth drop with my parents and then cut off the conversation, because it always gets too heated when we start getting into it. But I've noticed that if I just leave like a little bit and then kind of back off and maybe make a joke and lighten the mood, right, everything kind of smooths more. And I feel like I'll hear them come back with some kind of commentary where the mindset is they took it in. That's what I'm trying to say. So I just feel like it's been more effective, but it's not satisfying to me. And they knew that. They actually said that there's been a big change in me since I've joined this group. And because I told them, I was like, I just need a place to voice who I am and be who I am. And yeah,
that's it. So I mean, there's people here that I can talk to and stuff. There's like I said, like the girl and her boyfriend next door, really nice.
yeah.
But the whole, there's no one English left. No one really around me that's
that's hard.
English. Everybody's, and I know that's my. That's I just got to deal with it. I want to live here, so I got to do it. I got to learn to speak Spanish better. But even if I learn to speak Spanish better, there's still so much stuff that you can't communicate. I mean, I really need to have grown up or spent at least 10 years totally immersed in the language to be able to express myself properly.
That's how I felt too.
Relationship.
I would say don't limit yourself to thinking it's going to take that long. Like what I would say and what I've been doing more is trying to believe that it's possible that I can learn faster than I already do. And even it sounds so fucking stupid, but I'm taking books and I'm like flipping them in front of my face and saying, I'm going to absorb, as much information as possible by doing this. But I'll still read the book. I just feel that I actually, for some reason, can retain it a little better than normal. Because usually I'm so ADHD, that's why I always have a hard time reading books. I get so distracted so quickly. And then before you know it, I'm like, I should go do this really quick. So I'll read like 3 pages and then run away from it. Not run away is not the right word, but more lately, I'm finding that I'm really like enjoying it. I think because of the amount of information I'm getting out of it too. But yeah, anyway, it's very interesting.
Yeah, I've been wishing a lot recently that I had some actual books to read. Instead of obviously I could get any book, a free PDF of any book and read it on my screen, but it's just not. I can't do it. I can't sit there just reading script on a screen. Pictures are okay, and I can read. I'm sat back probably 5 or 6 feet away from the screen, and I can see the small. I can still. It's slightly blurred, but I can still read the comments. But I want to be able to sit anywhere where all you need is light. That's all you need is just light to be able to see, and then just sit there and read. Because I would go out and sit under a tree, or sit out in nature, reading a book, because that's what I used to do all the time.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do. That's where I'm finding I'm most at peace with it, because my ADHD brain allows me to look up and look and enjoy the nature, and it seems to help me focus back into the book. So I agree with that. I just want to say hello, Alex. Good day.
Pushkin Castle, hello. And
Tyler. Yeah.
How you doing?
Thanks
Good
for
to
being
see
here,
you.
guys. Impromptu. I don't know why I keep doing that. That's very. I have weird old habits.
Very,
There's a
very
lot of
impromptu.
American like pushed things, mannerisms and like what I just did. Like, no, that's not. That was different.
That was a bit Fred Flintstone. Oh no, not Fred Flintstone. What's his name? Baloo, not Baloo.
Wow, yeah.
Not Baloo. No. Who's the
No,
dog?
what's his name?
No, the red hair.
It's what's his name?
Boo Boo. The other bear is Boo Boo.
It's
Hey,
the bear. Why can't I think of his name right now?
God, what's his name? Come on, chat room.
I wanted a pig in a basket, right? Isn't that who that is?
Oh, and he wore a hat, didn't he, or did he?
Yes, and a bow tie. Come on, somebody help me. Come on, guys.
What was his bloody name?
Somebody will remember.
Oh, Boo Boo.
That's the only reason we do these live streams. You guys can help us.
Yogi, that's it. Yogi Bear. Thank you, Liz.
Hey, it's Yogi the Bear.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Terry.
that's how it goes.
Yeah, Yogi
Thank
Bear.
you.
So,
Nice. Saving the day.
What's going on, man? Is anything exciting going on that I haven't heard about?
No, as far as news-wise right now, I think it's a little. I'm gonna knock on wood as I say this. It's a little quiet, news-wise, right now. How about somebody else hear anything? I'm double checking that there hasn't been breaking news just now either.
Breaking news: Joe Biden has.
Well, he's got cancer apparently. I didn't even watch that. It's like one of those things you just need to see the headline and it's like, all right.
So I saw the headline that Steve Bannon has been found guilty of contempt of Congress.
Wait, of what? I'm sorry?
Contempt of Congress.
Oh, I had not.
So he's looking at. I mean, obviously he's appealing it, but they're saying it's a maximum. I think it's a maximum 2-year prison sentence. And if he does actually get done, that's the service term. Maybe he'll have to go and serve a couple of months or something in prison. But I think it's all part of a big game. It's all to get it into the Supreme Court or something. They want to get it into the Supreme Court because it wasn't televised. It was very, very one-sided. And do you know what I didn't realize though? And like as soon as I heard it, it was like, oh right, yeah, of course. Why didn't I apply the same filter to that when thinking about it? The Nixon, the Watergate trials, Nixon scandal, right? Apparently,
I know that came into my mind recently. That's weird.
Apparently, that was a bit of a kangaroo court as well. Like he didn't really get to speak. He didn't get to give his defense or anything. Apparently, it was a very one-sided affair, and it was just like bish bash bosh, and he was impeached.
Interesting.
But it was like a similar sort of state of affairs where those impeaching him weren't basically giving him a very fair trial. It was all very it was just all very weighted toward,
Did you ever see? And this is what's so interesting about mainstream media, and like the funding that goes behind these things for this information to come out. But there was a documentary on Netflix some years ago, maybe not that long ago, might even still be on there, called Divorce Corp. And it's because it's like they can't straight up come out and tell you that there's all this corruption going on in other, in the Supreme Court, but it was more or less showing you like how effing incestuous it is, how all these judges and lawyers are just shaking hands behind, everyone's back on deals, and then pushing the case in a certain direction, and just effed up situations from this documentary talking about like women who had no issues, no drugs, no nothing, and just had no access to hadn't seen their children in like 5 years because of the court systems.
Because of the backroom deals.
Yep.
So all the backroom deals that go on, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. We're members of the same golf club,
Yep. Yep.
Both serviced by the same little eunuch. Anyway, yeah, I'm just looking at the chat room, and a couple of people are saying, right, Bill Bacon, the monkey thing has been declared a global emergency.
Oh, are you kidding?
Who? Well, we all know that the WHO are, they're a reputable bunch, led by a basic terrorist. Went straight from terrorism into being the leader of the WHO. Not sure how that happened, but yeah. So they've officially announced it today. The Yogi Pox. Actually, he was a bear, wasn't he? Not a monkey. Who was the monkey? Monkey was in Tarzan, wasn't it? What was he called? What was Tarzan's mate called?
Are you thinking of the Lion King monkey that was like, he was like, doot, doot. He was actually doing.
I want to be like you.
I love that one scene. I love that one. Oh, there is that one monkey you're talking about. Baloo. Yeah, the big ape.
I reached the top and I had to stop, and that's what's bothering me. Yeah, that's one of the best songs that's one of the best soundtracks ever, The Jungle Book.
You know what though? You made me just think about the Lion King movie and the monkey scene where he's like doing a little spell on the lion cub.
Oh, when he's born and he's singing the Circle of Life.
I think it was later. I think it was like later, and he was like visiting him, and they were talking, and he was like running around. He was being goofy, and he was cheating, kind of. I probably won't be able to find it.
I think that monkey was a baboon because he had the blue face.
Yes. He was a baboon.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, my mind went like, I wonder, the symbolism behind that scene. I was kind of thought it would be kind of cool to pull it up, but regardless, it's just something to think about. Whoa, what's the movie, The Monkey King? Anyone ever heard of that?
The Monkey King.
Let me show you.
That's a book and film, isn't it?
Yeah, this picture looks like this monkey has a third eye, where his nose is up here. I can't quite tell what that is.
This is old. Oh, monkey. Ooh.
All men must die scene. Oh my god! What if Mufasa had not died? Sorry, I can't talk. Man, the places people go with this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Giant buffalo. All right, sorry. I'm getting lost in translation here. I do have a couple of things. This is clearly fake.
Well, I've seen they've picked up like pythons that have basically swallowed more than they can, and it's ended up burst. Like there was one python that had eaten an alligator, but it was burst open, and they were like, "What's happened here? Why has this happened?" And then they worked out it was because the alligator was dead already when the python ate it, and it decomposed in its belly, and the gases caused it to explode. Did you mute yourself?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. I was like, oh, interesting. I was making some clacking noises, so I was trying to, avoid, because now I got this new mic and it picks everything up.
Yeah, because of the stand. There should be a thing on there. Is there a little 3mm screw hole, basically? Or
Yeah.
is there a little screw
I
hole?
have it I have it on a stand right now, and it's screwed into that.
Yeah, so what you should be able to do is get like I've got, like an extended arm thing.
Oh, okay.
That it clips onto. You should be able to. I don't know.
Okay. I could probably. I bet there's an accessory with the blue stuff. You're right.
Oh, there's loads of accessories that are blue.
Yeah.
They're good. Mind you, they
I
are
feel like Sherry. Do you have somebody? No, maybe it wasn't Sherry. Sorry, somebody was talking about. Maybe it was India actually. This is the one she has, or it was Hippie Shake. I can't remember.
So that again.
I was talking about. Can you hear me? Okay. I'm sitting back a little bit. No, it's just double checking. I was talking about that. Somebody was when you remember when you got your mic, we were all talking about this, and like the best mic situation. And I want to say it was like Hippie or India were talking about that they had the blue, like I do, mic. It doesn't matter. Sorry.
Blue is it? What is it? Blue shark, blue fin, blue.
It's called it's called Snowball Ice, but it just says blue on the front. We used to actually have these at work. So real lively discussion here.
Well, like I said, this is more just really. I just want to hang out with some mates and see what people are chatting about, more than having anything specific to talk about. Because I'm pretty much everything pisses me off that I see. Like, I'll tell you what. Let's do this. This would be fun.
I do have that. Just so you know, Richie, I do have that video that Rox sent to us queued up because I thought that would be entertaining if nobody's seen that. Because I think maybe I remember seeing that, but it was from when they first came out, right? I'm talking about that Pixar clip.
The snow globe thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, that's.
That means.
I like the music.
Actually, do you have it? Because I will send you the link, but I actually was trying to get myself set up in Chrome. So actually, I could. I'm going to dip out really quick and come back in on Chrome, and then I can share without audio issues anymore.
Okay.
Word.
Yeah, I'll get it ready.
Okay. Oh, I'll be right back.
Sorry about this. I'm just having.
You're good. I can actually share now if you want, because that was the issue was that I was using Firefox before, and so that's why I couldn't get it to connect. Do you want me to share?
Yeah, if you've got it ready.
Yes, I do now. Just letting the ad play out. I'll share. And let me know if the sound's okay. I'm kind of excited because now I finally have my crap together. Oh, hey, Callum. Callum joined us.
Don't forget to mute.
Good morning. Or
Callum, hey, buddy.
Crap, I said it. It's actually evening, I think, right? No, it's morning. What am I saying? Okay, anyway, let me share this. Oh, why won't it? Oh, there we go. Ooh, this is kind of fancy. So many new options.
Oh, interesting.
All right, guys. Quick interlude. And just, yeah. I'm going to try to mute, too. I should be able to mute, right?
Yeah, it's probably better you mute.
Okay, let me probably echo.
There's no sound. Are you sure you're sharing the sound?
Well, I'm not sure, actually, because I'm new to this Chrome thing. Let me double. Oh, yep. I see what happened. Oh.
Here we go then, call blimey, governor.
Now, I'm gonna play it with myself unmuted, so let me know.
It's all right, this one.
You can hear?
Yeah.
Sweet.
There's no echo either. So.
Beautiful.
Like grumpy looking that.
Yeah. And this is ridiculous.
The breasts.
Like, what year was this? Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, I'm a man, so it's like, look at what they do. I mean, this is the 90s, I think. I think Roxanne told us in the
yeah, it's pretty disturbing.
or it says it in the.
Here, let me turn it down. It's not like we need the. You were saying 90s, right?
I'm sure it's at the beginning.
Okay. Maybe try not to talk during the
I've got it open and I'm having a look.
Okay, good. Thank you. I hope you guys don't mind. We're just going to turn the sound down a little.
Basically, when it was produced, the Soviet Union still existed when it was produced. So when did the Soviet Union collapse?
Wasn't that the 80s? Like 80.
We have to have this like
6 or something like that? Or 88?
It was late 80s, early 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah. Wasn't that... Why I'm blanking here a little bit. I'm mixing events together. What? No, that was the Berlin Wall.
Yeah, it's just landed in another fishbowl.
Oh, an even hotter chick with less clothing on.
She's got pasties on. I don't know what you're talking about.
Pasties.
Are they pasties or pasties?
I don't know, because pasties sounds like a dessert.
They've got a name, haven't they? They're basically things that, you know, stick on your nipples. Because apparently it's only the nipples that make it.
Everybody at Pixar. These are the people that brought you children's movies. There's no way that they're inappropriate.
Bobby McFerrin, I remember that. See, the thing is that nobody says that this was necessarily meant for kids. Maybe when it was made, it wasn't actually directed at kids because I don't know. because of the boobies. I don't know. Maybe it was just this
Whoa.
guy.
Sorry, I'm having a glitch issue here. Oh, there it goes. That was a little weird. Sorry. Like I tried to stop sharing screen and like it was glitching out.
Ah. We said hey, and we Callum. How you doing, buddy? Do you want to come on, mate?
Yeah.
Kevin, how are you? I'll tell you what.
Hey, Kevin. Thanks for being here, guys. Good to see everybody. Okay, I know, right? Oh, shit.
I love that music, man. It's brilliant. It's really amusing and catchy.
Yeah, definitely.
I sent Callum a link.
You know how to do that.
Sent Callum a link if he wants to join us. So I watched that. I went and watched that Curious Bunny yesterday. Oh no, that wasn't. It wasn't in our live stream, was it? It was in. Whose live stream was I in? Maybe it was Martin's.
I was gonna say I don't know. Who's working?
It was either Martin's or Callum or Campbell's, Campbell and Bernie's. Well, I was in a live stream the day before yesterday, and this Curious Bunny came in, and she's got like 2,500 subs. So subbed her channel, and then yesterday thought, oh, I'll go and check it out, go and see what she's doing, because the titles of her videos seem quite cool, and she seemed like a nice person, and she does. She seems like a really lovely person, but it seems that her chat room, she had like 40 or 50 people in her live chat, and there's a number of them in there that have all made their judgments about certain other people, and you know were basically voicing those opinions and that I don't agree with. I'm like, you all need to stop throwing mud, man, because all you're doing is slinging mud. Nobody's got any facts. Nobody knows the story. Nobody knows what actually happened. They only know hearsay from, you know, it's all bollocks. People fucking just slinging mud around about other YouTube content creators.
Yeah.
Pissed me off.
That's why it's like when I even started talking about them, I kind of went through this whole internal thing where I was like, just don't even need to, and there's nothing, we don't need to be like playing anybody on the, downwards. We don't need to be pushing anybody downwards. We need to be pushing forwards.
Yeah. Well,
I know.
and we need to just be very aware that all they want is for us to fight. That's what they need. They just need us fighting with each other. Have us fighting with each other, and then we're distracted. Like. Our energy's going the wrong way. Our anger's misplaced, and
sometimes I think it is a lesson, though. Like, you know what I'm saying, in the sense that you're being forced to have to look a little more internally on something maybe you were ignoring, and these energies have come in to force you to change. It's the whole, obviously, good chaos theory. So it's not just, I'm just saying I agree that we're being there's clearly like a pushing in a polarity, like we're being pushed to one side and we're not meant to be, right? And that's why our group is so hyper aware of this, because we're probably hyper aware of that sensitivity to that polarity. And that's why I like the idea that we're not going to always be living in this duality type world. Because I just feel like there's a lot of weird resistance right now, too, on certain things. And I feel like it's because of a buildup of energy. Like, I feel like that's kind of what you're partially feeling, energy-wise today, too.
I mean, it seems like We started, pressure cookers.
Yeah.
I don't know if your mum ever cooked with a pressure cooker or ever uses a pressure cooker. My mum
Yeah.
used to use it every Sunday. She'd get the
My
pressure
grandma,
cooker.
yeah.
She'd get the pressure cooker out and she'd obliterate all the vegetables. Like totally obliterate them and have them all tasting of
Just
fucking
bland.
cabbage.
I
Just
know
have
exactly what you're
everything
talking
taste
about.
of
Yeah.
cabbage. It was
Suck all the
horrible.
life out of them.
But I remember it, like I'd be sat in my room playing and I'd hear the pressure cooker start to hiss and my heart would sink. I'd be like, oh God, pressure cooker vegetables. Because I hate it. That's why I hated vegetables so much when I was a kid, because that's all my mum did was pressure cook them. If I had been introduced to steamed vegetables when I was a youngster in the 80s, if we had been introduced to steamed vegetables in the 80s, I would have loved them. I would have absolutely bloody loved them. I know I would have done. Because their texture and they don't taste the same. They don't taste great, but they don't taste the same. They taste a lot better when they're steamed or boiled. And yeah, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. The pressure cooker, right? So the pressure cooker starts hissing. Well, I feel like the pressure cooker started hissing back when Biden was elected. The pressure cooker started hissing, and I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for either the top's gonna blow off the top. We're gonna blow the top off the pressure cooker, and the valve basically is America. Or
It does feel that way.
Or somebody's going to take it. It's got to be taken off the heat.
Yeah. Yep. It's the whole bubbles got to burst thing. It's the whole almost like my dog's abscess that randomly happened, and then with the healing, it just burst that one day randomly, and I'd never really seen that. And yeah, it feels like that was like a sign. Can I also tell you something super weird? So I have been aware of seeing, I find feathers all the time. All of a sudden now, every day, every day that I am outside, it's now like one or two. And it's on my walking path. Like I'm not going out of my way to find them.
Floating feathers.
Flying bird feathers. Bird feathers from a crow, from these blue jays. I found the coolest, like one half was black and one half was blue. It was
Is there a higher than normal air traffic? This is just you've been walking out.
There is a lot of birds around.
About 10 minutes after there was a bird strike, like.
Well, and I mean, it is the time of year too where the hatchlings are learning how to fly. So there's some whole truth to that, right? But I'm finding like full size feathers. I did find some baby feathers, but I just think it's a little, because I'm finding them like, I walk around this school and there's this part where you have to kind of walk down these steps and then you're actually like right up against the building of the school as you walk around. And there's no trees right there. There's no habitat for the birds to live in right there. Okay. And I'm finding feathers on that path where it's like, why would it's random, very random. Does that make sense? And I've walked that path. I've been living in this place for 2 years now, maybe over 2 years now. And I have walked this path constantly because it's really close to my house. It's, beautiful. There's like this whole big field and stuff anyway. And so, because my dog's older, I don't like to stress her out by taking her on long walks. So it's just, you know what I mean? And it's really like, I just feel like, right, if there's any truth to spirit guides or anything, they're just like, get ready. You know what I mean? Yeah. The energy's there.
Please don't do that again.
Sorry.
Callum, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Callum.
Very well. Hello. How are we both?
Is it chillier there today?
Good.
I'm not going to put my camera on because I'm sat here in my vest and I don't want to get dressed. And I don't want people seeing me sat here in my vest.
I look like Greta Thunberg today, so I feel like I have to show you guys.
Listen, you don't. And,
blah, blah,
better than that, you don't sound like. If you sounded like Greta Thunberg, I'd have more of an issue about it. You know, if you. How dare you?
You're getting ready, you said, for an event I saw?
Oh, yeah, for a heavy metal festival. Here, look, there's all my lights. That's it all there.
It looks like a
moving
motorcycle
lights and
kinda,
stuff.
or a robot.
Yeah, basically. Lighting robots.
You're providing the lights for a heavy metal festival.
Well, I just designed them. So I'm just writing it on the software sort of thing. Programming in all the lights, and then someone else pushes the buttons. I don't really like operating too many festivals and stuff now because it's and I don't listen to much heavy metal anyway, so I don't know any of the bands. But it's Open Air Blacken Festival, Blacken Open Air Festival, something like that. There's a website and stuff.
Cool, man.
Yeah. I used to go to a lot of shows, and there was like options that you just could work your way up to the front, but I'd always come a little late and I'd end up on the sides, right in front of the big speakers, and I messed my ears up. I feel like that could be connected to the sinus thing a little bit, but regardless, I'm over it.
We lose frequencies sometimes, especially if you're up close. And it's constant over a certain decibel level for 2 hours or so. Which, if you think about a concert, for sure. This is a 3-day concert too. So how many people are going to be up close for hours on end, just as close as they can get to the speakers as well, to the subs, so they can feel it.
Yeah.
But if it's above the certain dB level, you lose that frequency. So that ringing is that dying. So the ringing that you hear after a festival, that is the frequency that you hear dying. You'll never hear that frequency again. Right.
All the things like
which is why, like for this, I'm always wearing earplugs and stuff.
Yeah. No.
Coming from the industry, I've always sort of done that as well as a protection, because I design sound for studios and stuff for dancers, and they would just come in, rehearse all day long, dance, but they always wanted to turn it up as loud as they could possibly go. So the amp goes to there, they turn it up until it's right. So I had speakers in the room that actually measured the level, and so when they turned it up on the amp, it would go to that specific level that you just under, so it's not damaging.
Yeah.
And they couldn't turn it up anymore. They could turn it up, and it wouldn't go up anymore, so I sort of limited them.
We had
oh, good.
We had in the bars in I can't remember if it was Portugal or here, if I'm honest, or if it's in both. No, it was here as well. So they have decibel limiters, where basically if it gets to it was Portugal. It was Portugal. I remember now. Where it gets to a certain point, and it just cut the sound out completely.
Yeah.
It didn't just keep it at that level, or it didn't keep it at a level. If you went over, it just cut all the sound out completely, which was annoying.
Sucks. Yeah,
that
kills the mood instantly, doesn't it?
Yeah, in the middle of a gig. In the middle of a gig, man. Right. But my ears,
the lights go on. That's when I turn all the lights on. Home time. Let's go.
It got to a point where my ears, if the music was too loud, it actually hurt my ear. It's like my eardrum would start to vibrate. Like it was painful. It was bloody painful. So I had to just stick my finger in my ear, or get an earplug or something, and stop it. I was worried that maybe I'd perforated my eardrum, but
I guess I did actually, and it didn't hurt, but like I can do this. I can turn.
Did you
my
lose
head.
hearing then?
I haven't lost any hearing.
Not that I know of, but okay.
Yeah.
So I've had an interesting hearing test. When I was like 21, I went to get this job, and I went through like they made you go through like a full-on physical. I had to have a hearing test. My drug test was they took a chunk of my hair, you know, like this big in the back of my head, and then but the hearing test, I guess they found out I could hear really low frequencies, and that overall I was pretty good in range. I was 21 at the time, and I had already gone through the majority of my concert phase. Like I'd done most of my big concerts and did hear, you know, damaging crap by then. So I was kind of hopeful, but I have, and I even talk loud sometimes because I will get plugged up, and I can do this. Like I can turn my head and I can feel everything move, you know, and then I can even feel it go from like the popping kind of, you know, where it's the pressure, both sides.
Do you need your ears surrendering?
I can go back, I can go forward, and I can feel it all. It's
I always have to go on my left side. My right side wants to clog up more than my left for some reason. If I go on my left side,
I guess it's both for me. And I have because I work for these sleep docs, you know, a lot of them understand ENT stuff, ear, nose, throat, right? And so they, I had this doctor. She looked into she's like, yeah, you have like one of the worst deviated septums. You can't even tell, but I fell on my face when I was a kid, and it's like you can just up in here, you can see where I fucked it up. And then anyway, so that's part of the problem. And then, but I've been doing a lot of this. I've been watching a lot of videos because I know there's like a whole thing to massaging the face and getting getting it to work for you more or less. And I think you can mold your face into the shape you need in a way, like you can work it. But
yeah, well, you're just building muscles there too, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
The secret there is to when you do it, you tense up.
Oh yeah, you were saying
and then you massage and rub tensed up, and then relax it, and then massage and rub in the same spot. Relaxed, tense, relax, tense, relax.
That's so interesting.
That'll actually work on wrinkles and stuff as well. So that's how to actually get rid of a wrinkle.
Okay.
It's by actually
ladies.
Yeah, you want to gain that elasticity back in the skin.
Yeah.
And you're exercising it like a muscle. You're telling it what to do again, right?
That would work for like your stomach too, then, right? Like if you had loose skin.
Yep. So tense, massage it, relax.
Okay.
So even there's a trick too you can do with the TENS unit, so which is tensing and relaxing, tensing and relaxing. Massage at the same time when you're doing it. It's also you're moving, like you can get like sharp, not medium sort of sharp edges, like a rock or a stone or something, and use that, and you're just doing a light brush with it as well. Something like a crystal, yeah. So that sharp edge on it.
Yeah, it's real sharp. It's real pointy though, like
because that's working your lymph. Yeah, like you kind of do with the lymph. If you're doing a lymph massage as well.
You pinpoint with a lymph massage, really? I guess I'd seen it more like.
Yeah,
if you go up to your jaw, right?
You don't want to put too much pressure, right? You're going in and away, going towards your heart, always moving towards your heart. But it's the same thing with the face.
Your ducts are up in here, right?
Towards the neck. Yeah.
So that you can, and then it goes into your system, and then I think you release it or you get rid of it, right?
Yeah.
And
well, that's always going as well. So it's like doing the vibe machine as a lymph pump. It's pumping all the lymphs throughout the body. But you can do it manually as well, like that. But doing that with the face as well. But remembering, if you're doing for lymph, you're not going too hard. So actually, lighter, more brushes is better.
Oh, okay. So even
and of course, you're stimulating.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't want to crush the lymph nodes and stuff as well, the glands.
Okay. I might have even actually gone a little hard right on my hand right here. What sounds?
It's just firm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What sound effect was that, Richie, that I just heard? Some weird watery sounds.
That's
You're okay.
That's me drowning in health and beauty tips
Cheers.
here in the Magic Tree House.
We're going underwater under the
how to get rid of your wrinkles. That's a long-held secret. That one.
What's that?
How to get rid of your wrinkles.
And I'm getting good
I've never had them, so
forehead wrinkles coming in.
I've got my grumpy one here.
Oh, I like those.
I've been grumpy for a very long time.
That's the other thing as well. I'm a man, so
I got that a little bit.
I wanna look older.
Getting around my mouth a little bit. Sorry.
I wanna have the chiseled.
That's part of face reading though as well.
The dry, cracked leather face.
Yeah, but you see their whole entire story on their face. You know.
Yeah.
Like
I love
these
that.
two lines here, where you get these two. That's someone who's been angry and bitter a lot. See those two?
So that's why you want to get rid of it.
Or incredulous.
I feel like
you spent a lot of time feeling very incredulous.
I feel like mine is.
You can't. You haven't got them.
I feel so silly when I'm like trying to get my face up in the camera and I can't really see myself at the same time. You know.
The only lines.
See these ones here,
like
on the side,
next to the ear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're tiny little ones. You get like 3 in a line. If someone's got them, they're very acutely aware. Hearing like they're good bullshit detectors. They're like, hey, what's going on? Huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
You can activate.
What do you feel about like hand? The idea of showing some like symbolism on the hand, kind of a thing, like the healing mark.
Well, it's the same. It's the same with your wrinkles as well, because it reflects in the face, and it reflects in the eyes. It reflects in the soles as well. Those endpoints that we have, right? That end of the touch, as far as I can reach. So we see everything in it. I'm not that good at reading palms and stuff, though.
I've been looking up, just like
I know more like when you add the centers to it, so more like acupressure. So when you know the acupressure points, that's more of a practical reading of it. Yeah.
So what's this area and the acupuncture on the pinky?
Well,
and right here, the base.
The base.
That's going to be where how many children?
Or maybe this, not the base.
Well, it is.
On the
I think that's close to the groin.
Sorry, on the okay. Oh, really? Oh, not on that. Okay, yeah, not here on the pinky finger, like at the top of the palm.
Yeah.
Right
at the top of the palm, when you bend if you bend your little finger forward, you'll get like a number of creases there, and that's supposed to be how many children you're going to have.
No, actually, so what I've heard is that that's actually the markings are the healer's mark. Like if you have lines there, it's to show supposedly you come from the line of the healers. And I don't have any children, and there's quite a few lines here. But I did tell you one time, I think in a past life I had like 6 children. So I don't know.
There's 3 there for me then, going the opposite way. Going upward. I've got no children. Maybe it's one more puppy. I don't know.
Right.
Furry children.
Well, I have my fur babies. Oh.
I have a bit of a simple way of delineating it to the body. So the index, so the highest point, your index finger is your head, moving down the neck. To this part here is heart, that really where it joins heart, and then it goes around till you've got your shoulders and your arms here, these two arms, and then down to your groin, to the legs, to the feet.
Wow! That's
so if you just lay the body out on it, that is a
it's like we're a turtle.
It's a very painful starfish. to perform with the body.
What's that?
Get your leg. It's a very painful position to perform with your body if you were to try and recreate the palm laid on the floor. You're having to bend your legs back, at the knees so that your feet poke out.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in yoga yet. I have seen it in circus.
The butterfly where you get like on your back and you've got your legs like up, you know what I mean, and you kind of do like a rock, but you're well, actually I guess your legs would be out more when you do that. But that's that's kind of a flayed out, and it's
I know that looks like what my sister used to do to make herself be able to queef.
Wait, what?
To make a what?
It's like something my sister used to do to be able to make herself queef.
I don't want to give any TMIs today. Let's not do that.
Hey, listen, I can joke about it. South Park did.
Well, I can joke about it too, but it's maybe we'll keep it a little less. Yeah.
Well, they float everything. You know, they make it okay to talk about everything. They desensitize everyone to it. Children.
I actually love it because in one of their episodes, they're talking about how the bar's been lowered so low that you've got the likes of.
Well, I'd say they have a bit to do with that as well.
Right, no, listen.
Same as a lot of cartoons.
Hang on, listen. They say the bar's been lowered like unbelievably low because now you've got the likes of Fatty Boo Boo. So this is back in like 2016 or something. You got the likes of Fatty Boo Boo getting unbelievable fame, you know, on YouTube and whatever, and going on TV, and she's just unashamedly obese, and so's her mum. You got James Cameron who goes down in a dives down to the depths to try and raise the bar again, and in the depths of the ocean he goes down and he's fighting with, I forget what his name is, that stupid bloody songwriter, to raise the bar again. And the boy Stan and Kyle are talking like, how did this happen, man? How did the bar just get lowered so low? And I think it's Kyle turns around to Stan and says, maybe it was us, dude. Maybe it was us. Because in 1999, that's what happened. They lowered the bar with the comedy, with the satire, and
just the characters as well. Like if you look at the successful sort of cartoon shows, the main characters are dumb.
Yes,
but they like happy-go-lucky dumb, Homer. Like just go along with it, and amazing ventures happen. You know.
Well, except I think that's what I like about South Park, though. They're not dumb. Sorry, Sarah. They're not dumb. They're not all dumb. Stan's sort of average. Kyle's actually quite intelligent.
The children.
Ike is a genius.
Children. The adults are all dumb. The children are the smart ones.
We can't hear you very well, Sarah. That's what the problem, because you're sat too far away from your mic. You need to turn it up. Okay. If you're going to sit back, you need to turn it up.
Sorry.
Or set on the auto adjust volume.
Yeah, take that off.
That's what happened. I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was on auto adjust because I moved to Chrome. So I apologize. That's exactly what happened. Is this good if I do this?
Yes, that's cool.
Okay. It's very nice. Anyway,
except for the chair. You've got a new microphone or something.
Yeah, we just heard your chair squeak. That we hope it was.
Yeah, I just realized that I'm going to have to lubricate that before tomorrow. This is an older chair. I'm like, I was telling Richie, I can't buy new things. Well, that's not totally true. I bought a new mic. I'm always trying to get thrifty stuff, and this is like an old used chair. So anyway, what were we talking about?
South Park lowering the bar.
Oh, the character thing. What was I trying to say? I think The Simpsons. I think that's what I was trying to talk about. Mr. Burns, because he's such an creepy, ridiculously rich, right? And he's totally, but he's it's in front of everybody, right? And Homer's just going along, working at this plant, doing their bidding. That is clearly they're just trying to show how idiotic we can be and who they are putting in these facilities, making them feel like
with safety standard problems.
Mr. Burns Mr. Burns has been referenced in the last couple of days comparing Klaus Schwab to Mr. Burns, because Klaus Schwab is now openly talking about creating these bubbles to block the sun.
Like, RV blockouts the sun. That's why Bill Gates was sort of compared to him as well, because he wanted to
do it. He talked about it. China has apparently already launched something, haven't they? They've already put a fake sun up there. But it's
well, that's the fog that most people see is that's blocking the sun. So that's happening in a lot of places.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Rox the other day, when it was really hot in London, we were talking. She was sat out in the garden, and we were saying maybe the fake sun, because the sun just seems so much hotter now. It does seem to give off more heat. It doesn't actually, it says it's 25 degrees, but it feels like it's 30 degrees. And we were saying about how it just feels so much hotter now than it did. But we're looking at the temperatures and saying, yeah, but it's been hotter than this, man. I can remember back in the 80s, it was hotter than this. In the 90s, it was hotter than this. But now it just seems so much hotter. And is that humidity that's causing that? Or is that because it's definitely more humid here? It's definitely more
humid here too. In the
desert.
Yeah.
But is it heavy metal? Is it heavy metal?
But what's weird is it was really dry. But I was going to say too, it was really dry here. We had big fires here in 2020. And this is okay. So I'm living not like too far away from Portland. So I'm not that far south in the state of Oregon. So compared to where California is, where the Paradise fires were, where all the major fires are, there have been some in the northern part, but not like even there's this huge vast redwoods area, and there hasn't actually been that many fires in those areas, but yet all the way up in the state of Oregon, there are fires to this eastern part of the state because it's like high desert, so that's actually not that abnormal, like for them to in years past to have one or two here or there, but not constantly and not all season long either. So then what we saw happen here is I saw I've been here 15 years, and when I first moved here, we had a year very much like this year where it was raining a lot. We had a very rainy spring. It was an early fall, like started raining October, and just constant rain, like to the point that you don't understand where all this water's going. You don't understand how you're not flooding, because it's like I guess, like, compared to a monsoon, like it's crazy here sometimes. Anyway, and this is how we get the rainforest like environment. And it's gorgeous, just like really moss. Like I have some footage of that, but I'm traveling through on a gravel road, and everything's just thickly, covered in moss everywhere. It's beautiful. Okay. Anyway, all of a sudden, I want to say like maybe 2014, maybe sooner, it was probably sooner. It was probably even like 2012. The weather started to just dry out, and there was, obviously was paying more attention to the spraying and everything too. And Oregon actually has documented, I can like pull up some information where they actually challenged the courts about the spraying that was going on here and the lithium content. And they were doing testing just like Northern California was, and challenging things. And they got justice with it, but this is something that's like, doesn't obviously make the news. Anyway, bottom line is that they dried it out, and whatever they were spraying ignited the fires. And it was clear because they've done these times where you get for us it's 115 here, and they do it for like 3 days, 4 days in a row, and you can tell, but they do something to just suck all the moisture out of the soil even. So when they ignite things, it's just so easy, and
it's on top. It's what they spray here too. I mean, it's the same. Yeah. It's like aluminium. It's the same stuff in sparklers.
Yes. Yes.
It's the same makeup.
Exactly. And you can almost feel, it's weird. It's like you can feel it in the air. You can feel that kind of static electricity coming from that in the air. And that's what it felt like. And now this year, it's like what I remember when I moved here. And it's like it's coming back. And there's still spraying going on, but it's really that drastic difference. And it makes me wonder if it's that they push this to the point where they can't anymore. And that's, because we're getting closer to whatever shift we're about to go through. And so they can no longer manipulate it. So they were just trying to do as much as they could in that time. Or if they're, I don't know.
Well, I don't see it like I see it as there's changes happening and we can observe the changes. What do we observe? So like the things I always keep hearing and observing myself is with the sun, like Richie was saying before, that intensity of the sun. So it's not the yellow sun anymore. It's not a warm sun. It's a high intense sun. So, they could see themselves as being heroes here and blocking us from the effects of that.
Yes,
However, this is probably from what I understand in terms of cycles, a natural cycle, a natural cycling of the sun. We're at a point of change, and it slows down and accelerates at the point of change as well. So we get this crazy flying feelings.
The solar minimum maximum, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we are.
Yeah. So why wouldn't the sun be different in this cycle? The moon changes. Like we can see shorter cycles. What makes people think there's no longer term cycles just because we can't see them? But they're documented.
They've done their best to obscure
cycles within cycles within cycles. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what we're showing. So that's what it is.
That's one of the things that Jason Brashears has pointed out, that that like the Roman Catholic Church through the Anno Domini calendar were trying to obscure and completely hide the existence of the 138-year Phoenix cycle. Yeah. They don't want us knowing cycles, and particularly big ones, the long ones. That they don't want us knowing it because
if they alter the history, they can claim those.
Yeah.
So secrets, they're the secrets, and then which is what they did throughout time as well. It's like if you didn't know about the solar eclipse, I can make the moon go away or whatever, magic. Absolute magic. If you don't know, so that's why it's magic, because it's unknown. It's only magic to the person at fault, right?
Yeah.
But if you had some knowledge there, even to the point whereas I may not understand what I'm seeing, but is this natural? Because you can always ask yourself that question: Is this a natural thing from Gaia energy, Earth energy, or from man energy? And you can ask yourself that question and understand it in the moment. So you don't really have to know, but then you get those feelings, right? So, this feels bad, right? And then we're starting to lose some of that magic, some of that unknown. And then you have choices. Then you have the choices. Now you can start manifesting and go, you know what? This is not what is in my reality here. But you do it positively with positive language. It's manifesting.
Yes.
But that's when you get the choice. It's when you get that awareness moment and you go, this is what's happening. This is what I'm observing. This is what's going on. And this is the feeling associated with it as well. Unnatural, natural.
The thing is, that's all stuff that has to come. That's all stuff that comes after you've been able to find that place of observation, detached observation. You're only going to be able to recognize that once you can actually detach and observe what's happening. And that's one of the really unfortunately, looking out at people, listening to the things that people say, there's not very many people that have actually managed to find that place yet where they've been able to say, whoa, I am not me. That like this person that's running around saying all this stuff, that isn't even really me, or not all of me. It's just a part of me. And there's other parts of me as well, but being able to recognize all of the mechanical side of us, the things that we do because we've been programmed to do them, and being able to recognize the true self. And
we only recognize through the observance. So
exactly, in
practically,
hindsight,
if we observe more,
it's in hindsight, because in the moment, in the now, you are the ego. You know, it's very, very difficult to get through this life without, because the way I see it is the ego is the pilot. Only the ego can pilot the vessel.
Yeah,
like,
there's a background to it. There's a background to it. Your ego might be in control there, but it's a background which you're not aware of, or you become aware of. You know, because if you're aware of that background, that amount of control that the ego has is now adjustable. I
mean, for me personally, it's it was always in hindsight. It was always in retrospect that I could observe how I'd behaved, how I'd reacted or responded or been affected. You know, observe the emotions that I'd felt and where they really came from. If I was really mad with that person, or if it was misplaced anger, all of these things. I've got to the point now where that reflection happens much, much faster than it used to. So I'm able to catch myself much quicker, but I still make the same mistakes. My ego still pipes up and says things, you know, before
your
that.
Ego's fighting.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes I let it. Sometimes I actually, you know, it's like while I'm saying whatever it is I'm saying, I think, oh, yeah, getting out of the box there, Richie. Go on then. Go on. Say your piece. Get it off your chest. And then afterwards, I'll say that was just my ego mouthing off, man. I just needed.
But let's not think that the ego is all evil and all wrong and all of this too, because there's moments like that which allow the ego to do its job.
Yeah, the ego is there for a reason. It's your.
Fortunately, I've only had to tell people off only a few times with the work and stuff I do, and when it's completely out of line, and I'm responsible as a manager or something for the people. I have to step in there. I've only done that like twice, and it's exactly what you described there, where there's like that split personality sort of feeling to it as well, where it's this side of the ego that needs to shine. It's this strength of the ego that needs to shine in this time period as well, because a lot of things there are helpful, saving. That's what it's there for. It's there to find that balance. But when it's on auto, that's when it's out of whack, all over the shop, freaking out about everything, stressing the body all the time. You know, it's because you really have, because when we become more aware, we're finding those moments like, why am I freaking out every time the phone rings? Which I used to do all the time. Yeah.
I've started doing that. I have for the last few years.
I still get a little like, ugh.
If the phone rings, I'm not excited by it. If somebody knocks at the door, I'm not excited by it. I'm not like,
talk to that person.
Who's that come to see me? I'm like, who the fuck is that? Because there's like nobody that knows where I live, or nobody really knows my number. Nobody phones me. Who's that? Why are you phoning me? You know?
if we're really observant, we have moments before the phone calls. We have moments when people think about calling you, and then you get that feeling. And if you allow it, if you don't give yourself spells or anything, allow yourself to feel beforehand, because you always do it. You always go, I knew that was going to call. I knew that was going to call. I had the feeling, and you knew who it was.
In those instances,
you knew who it is.
And for me, it's like I feel the emotion. I feel the emotion before it comes, and I've often not realized where it was coming from, and then also I was like, oh.
Yeah. The reason why it's more powerful and you feel it more often and you recognize it more is because the emotion involved was more strong. I really want to call that person. You'll feel that.
In those instances,
Oh.
though, when that person calls, usually you've got caller ID on and you see that it's them. I'm talking about those times like when the phone rings and you look and it's withheld number, or it's a number that you don't recognize. It's like,
I never answer them.
We do have to realize that when we think about each other, it's because sometimes the other person is thinking about you, and there's some telepathy with that for sure. And
so in those times too, you go, the phone? Is the phone going to ring? I didn't ring that time. And they're just thinking about you at that moment. Who was it? It's in those moments when we catch it and you go, oh, this is one of those moments I'm doing that. Then you start to understand more and more where you just let it and you go, I know exactly who the person is. I know what they're ringing about, everything, because it's all there in that instant, in that feeling. All the information is in that transfer of emotion. So when you feel it, that's when all the other information is there too for you to see exactly what you want to, but we're beginners. So it starts with the emotion, so the raw feeling, and we unpack it. Right.
I personally feel, because I know we're all on our different journeys, and I think Callum, you and I have talked about that. We all feel that, or that you and I feel that we all have the same abilities. It's not just like we're all. Yeah. Because I've had the idea or talked about the idea that.
I feel we have the same.
But that we have set roles in a way. I've talked about that a little bit, sort of like somebody who's more visual, because there is some truth there. Like I don't have, I do have visions, but I don't have like premonitions like other people when I talk with them. I get a feeling and it will translate into some kind of, like you're talking about. It's like I get a feeling that I can translate into words. And I do get some psychic ability with people who've passed away. So when I'm talking to somebody and they're talking about that person, and I just got this message. I kind of need to it's like usually real simple. It's usually one sentence, not even very long. And I'm like, I have to tell you this.
Instant.
And people wonder.
You're not hearing the sentence all the way through. You're getting it in one. Yep.
But people think, and the thing is as well, we describe it as hearing. We describe it as hearing, but we never, ever.
I don't hear it. I don't hear it.
It's the only way to describe it, but really, it's a thought. It's not somebody saying something. It's a thought.
It starts as a feeling, though. I can best explain it as I resonate with that so strongly.
It's a frequency with a vibration. That vibration is the feeling. The frequency.
You might get a sense of if it's male or female, if it's a masculine or a feminine energy, and
since my hair's been longer too, I feel like I've been more sensitive.
You'll always, if you've got a good relationship with your mother, you'll always have a strong. That one's a little bit different.
Oh,
so because it's left right as well, where you got your masculine side, partner side, and then protective. So the mother nurturing protective side as well. So this is children as well on this side. So that's why knowing what the children are doing and stuff as well is way more.
I actually do. I talk about that a lot, actually, because of sleep and how women sleep versus men. How men actually are more capable to get into the really, really deep sleep, where women are generally a little more heightened, and it often is this. Because think about it, like they're okay, and this is interesting. You can see this in their pattern. So I figured this out kind of more or less. It's not like it's that hard to figure out, but they're very hyper aware into the early evening. And they actually get their best, deepest sleep later in the morning. Because why? Because they're constantly until all of a sudden they realize everything's quiet, everything's settled, and then they can actually get into that deeper state. So
the males it's flipped, right? Yeah. So it's the first 4 hours is going to be the deepest for a male then. And then it's so when you look at the overall too,
right?
It's like doing shift work.
Yep.
so someone's always lightly aware.
Has anybody?
And that's funny how I'm imbalanced. Sorry, really quick, because I'm an early bird. I actually act like more like my dad. I know that's probably the biggest issue. We've worked through a lot, but I know that's where, and we've talked about some of my issues. There's a direct polarity to that mother side of the brain. And therein, that's the side that I need to unlock, or whatever blockage I have. I feel like at this point, even though I feel like I've made and I understand her, I know I still get triggered. So I know I still have to. Anyway. once you told me that last time, I cannot stop thinking.
Overprotecting is the restricting is the blockage. It's the right side needs to open up. So basically,
and yeah, it's like, and I just wanted to say, like, after our discussion last week, it's like I cannot stop thinking about that now, especially with mental health. And I think I was telling you, like, I started this book, and they're talking a lot about the traumatic past type situations, so like severe PTSD again, but it just, it's clicking. Everything's clicking, especially with the mental health aspect of it. Obviously, you know, we could read this with frequencies, but it's pretty clear now that, you know, the whole dis-ease concept.
Yeah, out of balance. It's just, and that is uncomfortable. And the more out of balance you go, the stronger the symptoms, the heavier, the deeper, the darker the symptoms. I always relate it to a spectrum, though, because everyone wants to put it in that duality. But when you're looking at the middle, it's one spectrum. That's it, you know, and you're seeing maybe two extremes of the one spectrum, but that's what connects it together.
Yeah.
They're not different. So saying light, dark. Dark is just absence of light.
Exactly.
Which is the same as the electrical part of this as well. It's not that it's negative. There's no negative. It's just positive and lack of positive.
Yeah. That's how,
it's just
and that's exactly how you have to look at it when you're manifesting. Yeah, it's good chaos. That's kind of how I see it. It's chaos. I guess
so zero, like the 0 point or whatever, is just for us.
Yeah.
You know, because that's our point of balance within the spectrum. And it's naturally shown to us. That's the beauty of this too, because it's not something that it's not a path. It's something you unblock your things on the way, allowing yourself naturally to balance, because it finds its own balance within the spectrum. But if you open the spectrum, so if you widen that spectrum, so say, which is working left brain sort of stuff. So if my right brain is weaker and I start doing more creative, open, aware things for that brain to open that up, and they both expand, that's expanding that spectrum. So the two ends of that spectrum, which again is seeing more as well. To see more though, you have to see the whole, more of a whole picture, which is that right brain side as well. That whole picture view, as opposed to a focused narrow view, which is the left brain.
Yeah.
So that's what, in a whole, as people, we are all missing as a whole. And so that's what, because we've been guided down that road as well. Look at all the ways and things that you do to sort of correct yourself. You've been taught this way. So it's like always taught. You go, what? But why? Yeah. You know, and if it wasn't taught, you'd do it more. So any example of that as well, if you're shown how to do it, it's like, oh, it's like when I'm teaching people to do milk, are you left or right-handed? It's more about what feels comfortable to you. Do it that way. Good. Not do it how I'm doing it. Do it how you feel comfortable. Just hold it here now. Yep. Just wiggle it there. Yep. Boom.
Actually, that's funny, because when I'm always teaching somebody, I'll explain. I'm going to show you my way, which it's going to be super detailed and yada yada yada. But I really would encourage, because this is what I do with everything, is I'm going to take what I just learned and I'm going to tweak it to be at best advantage for myself. Because all of our brains work a little differently, right? Like in a sense that we have to kind of figure that puzzle, that maze to get through.
You have to make it your own.
Yes.
And you're not taking someone else's whatever set of instructions, whatever. Even if you forget a couple or rework it or whatever needs to happen, you know, the more you understand about the steps, the better. You know how important they are, whether they're needed or not, right? Allows you more control over this, feeling this as well, and making it your own. Because as soon as you do that, then it's your technique. It works like 100 times more powerful. I don't know the number, but it'd be a shitload more powerful.
It's the same
doing
principle
that.
as when
That's
I'm
you
learning a
teaching.
song. Same
It's this
principle
whole
as when I'm
idea
learning a
that
song.
Yeah.
Like to make the song my own. To say that, so
Then you can let go.
like
With this,
emulating what it was, but in the way that's comfortable for me, so it doesn't sound the same. Basically,
exactly.
in my head it does. In my head it sounds the same, but it doesn't.
there's similarities, but the differences are all you. Then,
it's sort of like what I talk about with meditation. We put this pressure that meditation is supposed to be this very specific way. And instead, you can kind of make it your own. You can make it your own little fantasy if you want. You can concoct like this whole. I actually did it one day with the treehouse, and because I remember this one time, Richie, before I joined, you were describing the treehouse. You were talking about how you woke up and you jumped into the treehouse and you envisioned what it looked like. And this was very much in the beginning. This was before I joined, but and regardless, like I saw it like that. What was that movie? I almost was going to say Swiss Family Robinson. Or was that a show? No, it was a movie, right? Oh my God, I was in love with that show, with that movie. And that concept. So I kind of envisioned that same idea of like, walking through these cool bridges and being in these huge tree canopy and
it is very
walking into this cool little cabin, tucked
Swiss
into it.
Family Robinson / Tarzan.
Yeah.
I pictured the magic faraway tree, and you go in the tree, and in the trunk of the tree is the treehouse.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
That's like the
Avatar.
What's
for sure.
Never Ending
What's
Story?
That Fern Gully
right?
movie too, right?
Never Ending Story
Never Ending
Story when he gets killed, kind of, and so it takes also. I forget who it is. Like gets injured and with the nothing, and they take him to the guy, the sort of gnome-like guy that lives in the tree with his missus. Right, it's them that take him to the oracle. It's before he goes to the oracle, and he takes that great big huge pill. But that's inside the tree, living inside the tree. There's something else as well. There's another book I was reading where. Oh, was it? Maybe it was Harry Potter.
Really? Oh, there is. Yeah, doesn't somebody live in a tree in Harry Potter? There's also in Lord of the Rings. I think.
Yeah.
I think the character that they left. What? Say that again.
It's the brown wizard. Oh, he's in a cottage.
That's
the elves.
It's the guy that they didn't. It's the wizard or the. I don't know if they called him a wizard exactly, but he didn't make the movie, and his name is like starts with an R, like Rag something, I think. And he was in the first book, and they stopped at his house, and I'm pretty sure he lived in a tree. This was before the hobbits met up with like everybody else. This in the very beginning.
Pushkin Castle has read my mind. She's absolutely right. It is the Princess Bride.
Story.
It's the Princess Bride inside the tree, and they've got there's the rack. It's the
torture device. Yeah,
the torture chamber inside the tree.
Yep.
So that is that's what I was thinking.
You're right.
Just getting it all mixed up, getting the Never Ending Story mixed up with.
Yeah, me too. Especially because I haven't seen a lot of them in a long time.
A long time. These are
As You Wish.
Watched them as a kid, I think.
I totally was obsessed with that movie when I was a kid.
Has anybody played that backwards? As You Wish. It's a bit because it just strikes me as a bit. There's got echoes of Yes We Can.
Oh.
Have you heard Yes We Can played backwards? That was Obama's big thing, wasn't it? Yes we can. Yes we can.
What does that say again? Satan something, right?
It's like all hell Satan.
Satan backwards is nasty ass. So if you say nasty ass and play it backwards, it says Satan. Live it. Devil.
So anytime they say that in these new
word-
rap movies or rap
That word
songs,
has absolutely it has no power in my reality anymore because I've determined that it is purely a label attached by the controllers. It's a label with a narrative.
Devil.
It's
Devil just means evil.
Yeah, it's just, well, devil means
Yeah.
lived backwards.
Which is evil just means wrong. you know
Devil
what
is
is
lived.
right.
Dark.
We all know what is
Devil is
right.
lived backwards.
and doesn't it mean dark?
Livid. Yeah, but it's also livid if you say it.
Yeah, livid. Yeah, which is anger.
Yeah. And what about Lucifer? Backwards, it's half a soul. Half a soul. Lucifer.
What?
Half a
Why
soul.
am I not connecting the half a saw? What is that from?
If you say it clearly, all I did was say it, play it backwards. What am I hearing? Oh, that sounds a bit like half a soul. And then I say it, half a soul, nice and clearly.
Half a soul. Got you. Okay.
Lucifer, half a
Interesting.
soul. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the hearing of it, because it's spelled one thing, like Richie said, like lived. Devil lived. The devil lived.
Livid is purple.
But when you say it, it's
Not
more
livid.
like livid.
Yeah, livid. That's it. Livid, as in like he was livid. He was so angry. He was livid. His face was purple with rage. Like, but that's VID, not V.
Basically the same word, and the same word in Latin or whatever too, because you're just flipping out. It doesn't matter about the vowels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
after the great vowel shift, man, the whole vowels thing is interchangeable, aren't they?
A, E, I, O, U.
And sometimes Y. Sometimes Y. Y. I can hear a little echo that I believe is coming from your microphone.
It might be.
Sarah.
I
don't know.
It's it could be fans. My room of fans.
Where's
It might be
your
that.
speakers? Where's
Echo,
your
echo.
It just muted. Tell me if you notice a difference.
There's definitely a difference when you're muted.
Yeah, can't hear it now.
It is your, but it's only a tiny little echo. It's nothing really,
I just turned the mic a little. Maybe we'll see if that.
There is a noise cancellation button. That one's okay to do. Yeah, that one's okay to press.
I thought
it's just
I had
the
that.
auto adjust one. Echo cancellation. Sorry, echo cancellation.
I have that.
Make sure that's clicked. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, let me try lowering the volume a little bit.
If you just turn the volume down a little bit, that might.
Okay, let's try that. Not much, but is that better?
Yeah. Oh.
I thought you were whistling at me, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like,
yeah,
yep,
I can't really hear that. That's all good. That's all good. Hey, Paul from Newcastle. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Yeah, Paul. I left. I left Curious Bunny's live stream last night because I just didn't like people slinging mud, man. Paul knows what I'm talking about. I'm not going to bother bringing up the names of people because I just don't. I'm going to get involved in it really, but yeah, Paul knows what I'm talking about because he was in the. He's got a wrench. He's got a wrench, and she's lovely. Is her name Kate? She's actually lovely. She seems really lovely, and she didn't have a bad thing to say. She was really cool, but some of the people in the chat room were just a little bit too kind of opinionated, in my opinion. In my opinion, you're too opinionated, in my opinion. Oh, I love it. So
too pushing with their opinion is a little bit different, maybe.
Well, it's just certain. It's when people
You
say,
know,
"Oh yeah,
it's okay to
definitely."
have an opinion. It's just, what are you Are you pushing?
So and so definitely did that. They definitely really. Do you have any proof of it? Well, no, but I watched the video of the bird that said that it happened.
Mm.
Oh, right, okay, right. So yeah.
I always read the energy where you see the energies go up, where people like debates and stuff as well, where people get into the heated debates, and the energy just rises very quickly, and it's a nervous energy that comes.
That's where, do you know, that's where I've got really good at recognizing that and back and just going, do you know what? Yeah, no, that's right. And I don't need to take part in that shit.
It's an unstable energy.
Yeah.
Why would you seek to control that to a degree as well, if you have an option
to be fair, listen,
you just want to leave it. Yeah.
Let me make it clear. There wasn't an unstable energy in Curious Bunny's chat. Her chat was actually quite cool. It was just, it did really piss me off, and I wanted to say more than I did, but I'm just not going to bloody get involved because it's a dirty old business, man. When people start slinging mud around about other channel creators, and I happen to like this person, and we've interviewed a couple of times, and is a nice guy, and I think this is all part of the
even channels I don't really like at all or whatever, that I've watched and stuff.
Yes,
there's
mate,
always
even then.
Yeah.
Well, even then, it's like, well, maybe I didn't get on with it, but there's plenty of other people that do and did, and it's like
you take what you're supposed to and leave when you're supposed to.
Yeah,
that's what I always think too. It's like, you don't have your friends forever.
Try and put other people off. You can't say, "Oh no, don't go and do that. Don't go. You shouldn't." And I know that I've been guilty of that as well, because say, "Oh yeah, you shouldn't bother with David Icke and you shouldn't bother with Joe Rogan because they're just gatekeepers." And I did. But I did, and actually they were.
And I do. I will not stop if it comes into my awareness somehow. Like, I don't have, I just follow the bloody what's being shown to me as well. If something comes in, I'm not pushing it aside as well. There's something I'm supposed to get. I don't care who it is, how it got there. There's something for me to see. Oh, that one thing. I don't need to watch the rest anymore. The more you get it, like, you get why. That's it. Bang. Next. So there's less and less of that which goes on, where it's like, you're more grateful for what was given. Like, even if, some people are gatekeepers and whatnot, if you understand that path that they're doing as well, or because a lot of gatekeepers or whatever are not aware that they are. They're useless eaters as well, or whatever.
I'd say 99.9% of the YouTube gatekeepers have absolutely no fucking idea at all.
No. A lot of them just follow threads, which this thread might be money, this thread might be fame.
David Icke knows he's a gatekeeper.
That's the focus.
David Icke knows he's a gatekeeper. Joe Rogan hasn't got a fucking clue.
Yeah.
He really does. And do you know what?
Actually,
I've got to admit this. I've got to admit this. I've listened to a couple of recent Joe Rogan podcasts, and I think, do you know what? Fair play. Cool.
There's an honesty.
Such a huge audience, and there is like when I listen to him, when I look at him, when I watch him, and he's talking. The only thing that I don't like is his indoctrinated ignorance. But there is an honesty to him. There's
honest to them. That's why
authenticity. There's a certain level of authenticity with him. He speaks his mind, and he's speaking out. So fair play. And like I say, he's got a huge audience, man. Millions of people watch him, and it's the kind of middle. It's the middle ground. People that don't listen to me wouldn't listen to me.
Where's your stepping stone? What would be considered a stepping stone? Like, millions of people still has that social relevance and everything, which is an easier stepping stone for a lot of people, where it's not, I'm falling off a cliff right now, I'm just stepping over, just leaning over the side and lowering myself down. That's a bit easier.
So Joe Rogan is a good stepping stone for mainstream kind of very invested people invested in the mainstream. They're gonna listen to Joe Rogan, particularly 20 to 50-year-olds, let's say, or 16.
Well, he does a 3-hour thing every day.
Yeah,
like every day.
Yeah.
So I had a mate who would listen to Joe Rogan every single day religiously. When you look at that too, that's 3-4 hours of one person.
Yeah.
That one person's viewpoint, and this guy pretty much was a splitting image of Joe Rogan. Like he followed everything he did, the barbell, what all the things that Joe Rogan did, he did as well. And from me observing that as well, I know he thinks he's his own person. But what I see,
he does 100%.
is a copy of Joe Rogan a lot,
Yeah.
So I've seen and witnessed that, and when you look at the because there's no diversity there as well. That one view. This is where I say gurus and whatever are out. If you're autodidactic, if you want to teach yourself, which everyone has that, that's open to everyone, because that's no limitations either. But as soon as you stick to one guru or the celebrity or the idol worship, which we were talking about, that's that. So they're sticking to that, and then the language changes, where they become a fan, basically, where they stick up for that person's viewpoints. They've taken those viewpoints on themselves. So then it's like, what's my opinion? What's the difference between your opinion and Joe Rogan opinion, sort of thing? Because that's the blurring of the lines. But if there's not that idling of that, where I let everyone teach me as well, and everyone has an opinion that's worthwhile. Because in doing that, like going down his road too much, is that blocking off and limiting of other people's opinions and stuff.
You mentioned it as this kind of idol, that people become kind of idol and idolized by people. I was watching Ian Crossland. He was actually interviewed by Andreas Zertix yesterday, and I watched it.
He did Alpha Vedic too. Sorry.
Yeah, he had bloody Alpha Vedic on as well. He had Alpha.
Yeah, he's been on their show, which I didn't realize.
Yeah. So fair play to Andreas,
we'll talk about that more. He's got this whole quartal concept, and I would like to talk to you guys more about how you feel about that. If you have heard about it before, we could listen to it actually.
Might have to get a coffee if we're portals.
He was talking.
Let's do this. I just made more coffee. I'm brewing coffee too. Actually, Callum, I need you to send me a cup. Sorry, I need a cup from Callum.
Cup.
He was talking to Ian Crossland yesterday and Ian Crossland was talking about how he's got a lot of followers now, like way more than he's had in the past. And he turned up
Andreas.
Andreas? No, Ian Crossland. Because Ian Crossland is on Timcast IRL with Tim Pool. And he's got a regular slot on there. So he's getting seen by millions of people. And he's got himself a good few 100,000 followers now. And he said he turned up somewhere and there were loads of people there to see him, but it's like they weren't there to see him, they were there to see his avatar.
Yeah.
They weren't even aware of what he was doing or thinking, or where he'd gone or what he'd done since the last time he'd seen them. They weren't really interested in that. All they were interested in was getting a photo next to the avatar.
Yeah, the public, the face.
Yeah.
Because all performers have that to a degree. And when you go up into the higher celebrity sort of status, that's just expanded more and more and more, where that becomes that's
actually
completely different to the real life.
What you find though, Callum, when you get to my level, is that it actually flips the other way. Once you reach super amazing mega stardom fame, it flips the other way, and then nobody knows who you are. Because obviously I'm
Well, there's a choice.
Extremely famous. Like I'm so famous that nobody even knows who I am.
Yeah. You only have to be famous to one. And you are, because you already know it there. And in saying that, you already know it. That there is no one to perform to other than yourself anyway.
Exactly. Yo, Paul, how's it going, dude?
Who becomes the celebrity? So in that case, then you're celebrating your life.
The thing is, in each one of us, it's the same for every single one of us. We are the only permanent fixture within our lives. Your ego is the only thing that you're gonna. It's like we have to be more. I was listening to the Alchemist.
There's a nature about ourselves.
I was listening to the Alchemist talking about the inner child and saying about how the inner child is actually, it's not just this life's inner child, it's every incarnation. The inner child of every incarnation is traveling with you now, and you should speak to your inner child and say, hey, I'm never going to leave you, man. I'm never going to leave you. We're going to be together forever.
This is constantly what they say. I don't mean to interrupt you, but this is like the new method of analyzing the traumas that you might have even gone through at like 3 years old, something that you didn't think that would affect you. I feel like you were talking about this, Callum. Like something as simple as like knocking your head up against something and having nobody around when you dealt with the pain and having to deal with it by yourself, and you don't realize that you internalize it. I don't mean to laugh, but it's just like, it seems so ridiculous, right? Sure. It's like, how is that even possible? And it probably, to be honest, is because in society we have all these things set up to prevent us from even acknowledging that it happened. But if we were actually set up appropriately to show our children how to go within themselves from the get-go, they would be able to figure these things out and process that had happened, right? And
you can see it. You can see it at the extreme. You can see it at the extreme. Like people actually black out. It's like
exactly
instead of that image coming up or before any of that, if the shock was that much, they black out, so that people can just black out and become unconscious to it. So there you can see the depth of it and the height of it. Even then in hypnosis and stuff, it's going to be difficult. That there would be difficult to find out what's going on there, because it's a block. Because every time you want to go searching there's deep that's so deep that the things that stop it from happening all along the way, like the journeys become so deep. So you have to go in all the layers if you want to go in and look at what created this story, because a lot of the times it's not the actual event. That's like a symptom. So that's it occurring in the physical. So it's manifested in the physical, but from where? Why? Why was there this suffering and shock here anyway too? It's from before that, and that's where it can be past lives and stuff, where that's a difficult process. But again, it can be solved here or whatever too. It's like unblocking of a pathway, and then you might not even have to know what happened in that previous life, but you've let it go here, and then whatever that happens, it'll be an emergence moment or whatever. And in that moment is that entire package of information. It's the whole emotion. You don't have to understand it, like this little part of it and that little part of it, of the entire package of information. So long as it's cleared, then you will feel differently. You will think differently about past memories and stuff as well as it's clearing.
I mean,
I already feel like just knowing that exists is enough for me to be open to it. Like I don't course I wouldn't, remember. And so I need to be, because I mean, what if you uncover you did something really shitty to somebody, and you have to face that because you don't, in this life, you don't see yourself as that kind of person, let's just say.
I don't really see genes as anything but this is what they would call genetic knowledge.
Okay.
It's just like you have a template that exists beyond this moment.
Is it genetic though? Because genetic is physical. This is more of a spiritual thing, isn't it? If you're
really quick,
but genetic would be the physical manifestation of the physical.
I feel like that's exactly. So, and this is why we've always had this connection to our ancestry. This is actually.
I think it's real to a degree, but what they're doing, I don't think that they don't understand.
And
it's hard to talk about genes.
Exactly, and this. Sorry, but I don't mean to interrupt you. What I wanted to point out again, I think I've talked about this before with you, maybe, but the Anastasia concept of this whole inner ecosystem, and what her concept of that was that your ancestors were drawn back to the land that you were nurturing within, which would technically be a gene pool. But obviously, we know there's more to the DNA because of the symbolism behind it. So I think that's perfect to
attachment
explain
focus.
it that.
You all the points are extreme emotion points. So everything's brighter, and then you have either a good moment or a shock. And then the shock's always what causes the issues is the ignorance of it blocking something. So going forward, what we learn from this as well, going forward is to face infinity without flinching or whatever. It is that. Literally, where you're trusting whatever it is, because if it's full trust, it's not suffering anymore. It will never be suffering. It's only those. If we get the same thing over and over again, you see people go through the same cycles and they make the same choice over, which is ignorance. I ignore this through fear or through however they got there.
And I've been there. I've been that ignorant person. I've been that person that's made that choice. I just like to make that clear because I think we've all, to just be kind on each other for that reason.
And when and how
and
people
how
make
long
the
it
choice,
takes, right?
Yeah, because what you can do, this is what I've had to deal with a lot, is you can halt someone's progress in learning about themselves and stuff through that can be done. That's possible, and that's something that you need to be aware of, to not damage anyone, not hurt anyone. And through sort of forcing anything, if you're forcing anything on anyone, that's basically applying force. That's where damage happens, because they can then
that's been my
the
experience.
opposite, pushing away, right? So that's energy that they'll use for more ignorance. So. Where does it go?
This is where everybody needs to start to really think about what we're doing. What we're trying to do. Is it this? Basically, everybody has the right. We're all sovereign beings. Every one of us is sovereign, even if we don't realize it. But that means that we can't push our perceptions on other people. We can't, it is when do we decide, right, enough has gone on for basically those who are going to wake up are going to have woken up by now, and those that are not, and we need to stop trying to wake them up, because they're not going to wake up. They're never going to wake up. Doesn't matter what we show them, doesn't matter what proof there is. You could stand there and film the Queen eating, a woman giving birth to a baby and then putting it up on the table and chopping it up, and the Queen eating it in front of them, and they wouldn't believe what they were seeing. That's how
ignorance. Ignorance is not a choice. A lot. The choice is already made, and because of that choice you made means that you will be ignorant ongoing, and that's anything visual. Logic, anything,
and that's reflected in the scriptures where God says those that choose to basically ignore the truth, he will strengthen the lie for them. Those that ignore or turn their back on or reject the truth, he will he'll just strengthen the lie for them and make it absolutely impossible for them to see. It's kind of reflected in that story in the scriptures, isn't it? So
Yeah.
That's truth. Yeah.
I gotta say, Callum, with you loading your stove like that, and like you're seeing how we can kind of see your room a little more, it really feels like, it almost feels like I'm there. It almost feels like I'm in the middle of summer here, right? And it sort of feels like, yeah, we're all hanging out. Kind of, I want to get a blanket actually now.
yeah, I'm still
It's
sat
funny.
here
It's just it's cool. I like it.
I'm hot, but I can see that it's not hot where you are. It's well,
you have to visualize yourself.
Toasty. You look toasty,
You have to
man.
visualize yourself, right, in that kind of environment, right?
What's that? I have to.
Sorry, I was kind of indicating to Richie, because it's cold, then he needs to visualize himself in a potentially ice or snow maybe type environment. Like right now,
Yeah,
you're at that location. You're where you drove those cars. Remember what that felt like? That kind of cold. Envision that.
No, that kind of cold is different. That kind of cold is actually completely different.
Don't fight it.
Because it's so dry. That was the thing that I noticed there. It was like minus 29.
Yeah, that's like
and then
Wisconsin.
I went back to the UK for 5 days. We had to go back to go and get something, bring it back over. And the 5 days I was there, like I left and it was like minus 25 or something. We landed and it was +2, but it felt colder than it did like the whole time. It didn't even get below 0, and it felt so much colder than Norway, which got down to minus 29. Like
Moisture's a massive thing with the cold, like
climate, the climate, the humidity is a massive.
Yeah, I've talked about this because with Oregon having so much moisture, and yeah, we were talking about this last time, and like when it's just above freezing, but you have just the right amount of moisture in the air, it's like a cold that gets in your bones. Nice. Very, very chilly, and you just.
Hey, Paul's in the chat there. What the flop?
Yeah, I just saw that. I just dropped the link.
Hey, Paul.
There's links.
Sorry, I didn't say hi.
I can't remember his. I can't remember his email address, so let's put it in the chat.
I better grab a coffee. I'm going to grab a quick coffee.
Yes, please do.
Toilet quickly.
Yeah, there you go.
I checked, and Martin doesn't go live till 9 o'clock.
Okay, good.
So,
cool. We'll just do a nice little morning show, and this is a good. You know, the other thing I want to talk about then is like, because I think it's really hard for us to see past that hierarchy system. I think I'm not saying that it doesn't need to exist, but at the same time, I just want to. It's like discussing that process, because that has been analyzed a lot, right? And it's supposedly been said that no, we can't. We need that hierarchy to function correctly. Yes, Paul is here. Hello.
You're forgetting our roles again. You're forgetting our roles. I nearly come out again. Man. How's it going, Paul?
I'm like, I was like, why is this not working? And my camera wasn't turned on. That's how long it is since I've used that.
How have you been?
I'm not too bad. I've been busy.
Yeah, you've got a lot of more new stuff out. I was like, oh yes, more content.
Has anything been said
sometimes?
I haven't heard anything more about this Centaurus thing. I haven't heard anything like in fact, on your channel is the only place that I've heard about it, but I haven't gone and looked for it. I heard it on your channel. I went, huh, there we go. That's interesting. And I absolutely agree. Bull, complete bull. Centaur, yeah. But I haven't seen anything like that. There's not been. I've seen a thing. Well, actually, no, it was in the chat room, wasn't it? People saying that the MP thing, MP, huh? Interesting. Just because I don't want to say it, just in case, or don't want to say it. It's about with the monkeys.
To be honest, I didn't hear much of it until I don't know what I was doing, and something came up. But you know, when you something catches your eye. And it says it's been out for a few months, but it's just been named. And I thought, oh wow, that's a name to pick. And it's just one of the things where you just break it down. I couldn't believe it. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously you think of Centaurus, it's a horse, but you don't refer it.
Yeah,
to
you
Taurus,
don't make that
break it
connection.
down. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You split it up and you just see Taurus, it's bull, and then Cent is 100. So, you know what I mean? Some basically just laughing like they normally do. People are lapping it up, and I've not seen much of it around. So that's why I was thinking.
At least they got a little bit more cryptic. It is a little bit more cryptic because Omicron was a little bit too obvious.
Yeah.
That was a little bit more cryptic with the Centaur.
And that's why I'm like, why is people not saying anything? And I'm leaving it, I'm leaving it for a few hours and no one's saying anything. No one's, So I thought, I'll just have to bang a quick one out. That sounds bad, that does.
Do you know what? I just thought that at the same time. I was like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, ignore that. You know what I mean?
It's all good. It's all good. You're good.
And I thought,
that's more about our minds. That's all of our minds went there. That wasn't just your mind. It wasn't you that suddenly thought, "Oh, God, that was." That was all of us. Went straight there. Went bang one.
Right there. Yep.
You know what I mean? I'll lower the content of your show.
Well,
no, we're free balling here. So.
Yeah, this today, Paul, is just literally. It's just like just come on and have a chat and see what people are up to. It's Saturday evening here. It's 7:20, same time as with you, and I'm sat here sweating. That's why I got my camera off, because I'm sweating. So I've just got my vest on, and I don't want to sit here in my vest. My wife beater,
You're just in your vest and your
I'd rather sit here with my Zelensky t-shirt on.
Yeah. You're just crazy. That's why sometimes people can't see below your chest. So you could be half naked down below. No one would know until you have to shut a window or a door, and you're like, I'll just have to leave it. But no,
I've always got my tracky bottoms on. Even if I put a shirt on, I've got my tracky bottoms on underneath.
I was about to say that when I started working from home, I always had my sweats on. I would go put on these nice button-up shirts that I had, for work that I normally would wear to work, but I always had my sweats on. It was pretty nice. But then I had to go out in public here and there, and I thought maybe I'll put on some pants.
Michael Stelzer got famously clipped, didn't he? Got famously doxed, basically. That was a real photo, wasn't it? Michael Stelzer sat there with his suit on, but no trousers. Sat there with his socks and fucking underwear. Good old Brian Stelzer. We love him.
So I just saw you were like, I'm just on my computer, but let me count about 30 tabs open on the next video, and obviously it comes up, like a red dot, and I'm like, I'm not going to click on it, because if it's one guy's, I see him on, it takes my mind off the video I'm doing, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I thought, I give in. I said, I'll just say hello, and I thought, what, I'll leave the video for another day.
Oh, were you editing then before you came in?
I was actually making the next video. I've just started it, and I was just checking something. You know what I mean? Because I don't even know what I'm doing half the time on here, and I've got things up, and it's red. I thought, who's live? I thought you guys. I thought I'll just say hi, and then I'll go back.
Oh well, we appreciate it, man. Thank you. Definitely.
Hey, Paul.
Especially after not the last video, not the Centaur video, but the one before that you did about 11.
Yeah.
Like diving back into 11 again. It's so easy to forget it afterwards and not think about it more, because it seems to have so much relevance as I'm watching, as I'm taking in all the information and seeing the connections that you've made. And it makes, how many coincidences can there be? You've got to stop saying coincidence at some point. So it's like, but what does it actually mean? Like, how do we? I was walking the dog the other night, and I was looking up at the stars, and I thought I'll speak to Janice. Right, Janice? Come on, then. What's going on? Like,
I don't know if this will make you excited or dread
The doors
or
are open.
something else. I'm actually working on part 2.
Yeah.
Because I had a light bulb moment in a light bulb moment in the first one. Well, because when you're making a video, you have to keep checking your editing. You know what I mean? Because I can't spell and it doesn't have spell check, so it takes me ages to do it. I'm going through it, keep checking. You don't see the flow of it until you're watching it, in the premiere. And I should have said something else then. And then, so this is what I'm going to work on in the next video. So, and it's really good. You thought the first one was, this second one will have, it's not much really about 11. It's about actually this realm and what's going on. And it's
they're the fundamentals, aren't they? So
yeah.
when you can you can uncover, you won't find a stopping moment there, especially when it comes to the fundamentals, because it is in everything. I see it as like 11 itself. Like, I haven't seen the video. I have a whole pull playlist going on because I haven't had time to watch a lot of videos. So there's a whole binge session I'll be doing. But I see it as a whole, like initially, like that numerology sort of sense I have. One is always seen for me as the body, a whole, a circle. So when you see 2, I always see 2 circles as well. And you've got then the Pisces overlapping in the middle, that resonance in the middle. So a lot of times, so again, too, it's that line of the circle anyway. So if you drew a line in the circle too, separating the circle, the cells that divide, giving you that 2, but then it's the 3 whole. And that's and that point of resonance in the middle, which is the same as like the big pillars when you see the big pillars. Yeah. Look at that one down the bottom there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's an infinity symbol in the middle there too. Yeah,
that's the old sign for Earth, and
yeah. But I'm not letting you see too quick.
We're getting a little don't want to spoil it, man.
It was just because also you get your comments, don't you, and people in the chat. And I forgot about
juices flowing.
Yeah, I forgot about something to put in, because when I originally made the circuit board video a long time ago, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, that looks like this," and you just forget, because you can't take all the information, and it's impossible. And then someone else said it again last week, and I'm like, there we go. That adds to something, and I see it as good and intriguing, but some might see it as like, wow, really? Is this what it is? So it is really, really deep. But I'm excited, and when I get excited, half the time it's generally a good.
But as you say, it's with regard to the realm and how the realm works, rather than focusing on the god that they have hidden, basically, because that's what they've done. They've hidden.
You know what? I'll give you a little snippet so people know what I'm actually talking about. Right, one of the things that I was talking about is it's an ancient symbol. And I showed it in the video last week, so it's no secret. Right. So it's 2 St. John's. It's the Freemasonry sign that no one knows. Even the Freemasons on their websites will tell you we don't know what it really is, and it can mean a lot of things. So anyone can say, well, it's that, and so on and so on. And this is what people said it was. So you've got to imagine this symbol I'm going to show you turned, and then you'll see it. But let me see if I can do it on my phone before I show you guys, and you'll see. You go, yes, and then you have to then look into what this symbol actually is, and then you go, your mouth drops. So I'll show you the symbol again. So you got that one, what I've just showed you, with basically the 11s and so on, the St. John's, Godhead, whatever you want, goals. You name it. It can be a lot of things. Wisdom, Gnosticism.
John, J is the letter 10, so it's still the letter 1, so it's still 2 1s.
And then this is a symbol. And for you, what was it? Not like sci-fi. It's like sci-fi. Superhero fans will know the symbol straight away, and it's identical.
IOI.
And that's the Green Lantern.
Yep.
Right. And when it's in green, basically the power is willpower. Then you go, you drop, your mouth drops. Because when you start looking into what will means and willpower.
Well, there you go. So that's Neo. Wasn't Neo in room 101?
Yeah.
101.
Well.
And
Or
then
11,
there's
all the doors, whatever you want to look at it. But when you
where's
start
that game movie?
Yeah.
Ready Player One.
Yeah, Ready Player. Right, and that, but that then basically sort of
so much
goes
so
back to
often.
what I'm saying about perception and willpower, and how until you're able to observe it, detach and observe yourself, you really don't have any willpower, because you're operating in this mechanical.
You're not exercising it yet.
It's reaction. It's
auto.
pre-programmed reactions to things,
rather than show you.
Your own will.
Some of the guys in the chat will know because they follow me on Twitter, so that's the only place I'm on. But this happened. This was in the papers yesterday, and you're on about 11. So I'll show you the picture and I'll read it out, because you won't be able to read it. So you can see it's a headline from the papers.
Yeah. Mum of 3 banned from driving a year after testing 11 times over the legal limit at 11 a.m.
And look at her age. 29.
29.
29. Oh, 29 years old.
11.
So 311's obviously met 33 as well. And you know what I mean? That's what he even had this yesterday in the same time. I'll just get it off the. And this is some of the stuff that it's not going in the video, but I found it. Look.
Oh God.
So why did you go to ask yourself? It can't be a coincidence you're picking that number. No. And that's what really got me into that subject a long time ago. Why are you choosing a specific number?
I love the number personally because it's my life path number.
Yeah, some people have been messaging me saying it was evil. No, it's all about the intent. You know what I mean? The waver of the wand, as such. You know what I mean?
But it's balance as well. It's two sides.
People don't understand. People don't fully understand the duality in everything. There's duality in everything. It's like this built-in thing. That's what nuance is all about. Like the nuance in everything. People are so unaware.
The balance of everything is the earth symbol that I showed you before. Male and female.
4 wins, 4 points as well, and got 1 and 1 crossed.
But the one that made me go aha, I don't know if I've still got it, was basically this one, because I'm looking at a little bit of cymatics in it, harmonies, because we've seen people posting all the time, don't we, on social media? Everyone will agree. Oh, church organs, people used to go in that to heal. Okay, why is it called harmony? Harm. Harm's not nice. What are they harming? Then you look into the word harmony, and it means to join. So what they're joining, what they're forcing, because I can guarantee most of us out here, when we go into a church and you're playing the organ, you don't feel good. You feel a little bit tingly on the edge. I'm not saying it's nasty or evil. I'm just saying who's the person who said it's good.
Okay, but
healing can be very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true. Actually, with the
all healing is
the constant, saying that to understand pleasure, you need to experience the pain, kind of a thing, right? Well, this is interesting though, because Paul, you've seen, and I'm sure you understand the frozen water testing that's been done with the frequencies, and it matches the symbolism within the churches. I don't know how much you watch Bernie's channel, but yeah, like, you know what I'm talking about with that. And so that's really interesting because we want to
you got to think about, because this is something I'm going to ask. Sorry to interrupt you, Sarah. No, what I'm going to ask in the video, because we've seen this harmonies, obviously harm, but when you start looking into a little bit detail, you'll see what I'm pointing. But my point is, when we see all these cymatics, and they are beautiful because I really do love them. But think about it, when they're using the frequencies, what is it? It's artificial sound. It's coming from speakers. It's been synthesized, not Mother Nature's own harmonies. She makes her own sound up, and that's why the
ground noise
frequencies of Mother Nature is different to what we see on artificially made ones. You know what I mean? So this is what I'm getting to a little bit in this, because it ties so much in with some of the things that I'm trying to get at in the video. For instance, this one, I've got that on my phone, then I don't have to hold the book up. This is the vertical stroke represents the oneness of God, right? In general. So you got the oneness of God. It's just a vertical stroke, and it's talking about like source coming down. It just intrigued me, because when you look at the symbol for earthing in electrical, it's the same, but it's got waverly lines underneath, or straight lines. So it looks like an up-down
upside
tree.
down pyramid. Yeah,
an up-down tree. Now you got to think about it. Why then? Let me just get to this. You have these. These are like trying to think. I've got left hand, right hand. You're the proper hand on
ESP cards, right?
Yeah,
ESP.
you can see positive intellect, active intellect, and the intellect in action. So these are ancient symbols, medieval ones. So you think about it, when a frequency hits something, it creates a wave.
Yes. Yeah.
You know
That's the up and down.
All these
and there's
things
two sides of the frequency.
That would sorry.
Same as the tuning fork as well. This is why I say circles as well, because where they overlap, that moment of resonance in the middle. So that circle then again is a circle and a dot in the middle, the beginning of that. And then you've got the two lines. That circle is throughout in all culture, like as a beginning, as a common symbol throughout.
Yep.
And it's a drop of water in a, when you drop a water and you see those perfect circles as well. That's where we're seeing it in nature perfectly.
So you can see how my
vibration and resonance.
I'm putting a lot into this next one. I'm not like that always another 11 or something. That was just like an introduction to what's going on. Why could it possibly be happening? Because we can all say it. And what really fascinates me a lot and does answer a lot of things is that observer effect. The split.
Yeah.
Experiment, the split experiment.
Same as the water.
Yeah, when you observe it, it knows you're watching, basically. So, that answers a lot of questions that people in the community don't ask. Why?
There's a feedback going on.
Not seeing what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? Because obviously he's not observing the same as what we're observing. We've observed more. Knowledge is light. So when we're looking out, we can see more, and that's why things happen when people don't see it. Why didn't you see it?
Decoding, isn't it? We're able to decode things.
Yeah.
It's an unblocking.
We've observed it, and we know this. We know. Well, we don't know, but you know what I mean. We know a little bit more than the other person. So the other person's in, like, for instance, if you're into Star Trek, he's gone onto a holosuite, and he's seeing what he wants to see. And then, since one of us walk in, we can actually see behind what's been seen, because we know, there's more light, more cones, whatever you want to call them, in the back of our eyes. You know what I mean? Something changes, gets switched on. Like a UV light. When you got a UV light, and you can, oh my God, this needs a cleaning. Different light, shows different things. And this is just what I'm going to get in this video.
Yeah, that happens on every level though too.
Yeah.
So it happens in the mind as well, where it's an opening. It's an unblocking. So it's not really gaining anything, but it's an unblocking of a limitation. So it's opening more. So it's that perception is expanding. Which that's the difference. If you're looking for a difference, like that's the difference, because that's more observant too. So in that moment of observing, you're also observing more. Yeah. And then literal physical changes happen as well.
If
like, as you say, the cones and the rods, well, that changes. The percentage will change, and you will literally see with more rods than you do cones. Because right now, as people sort of see, most people sort of see with 95% of their cones and only 5% of their rods, the peripheral.
Yeah, and then you've got to put in people with astigmatisms, their eyes let in more light. You know what I mean? Yep. I've got 2 or 3. I think I've got 2 in one eye. I think something stupid like that. And then when your eyes go like even more almond like mine, you know what I mean? It's
Don't you
no,
think
so
it's
is that
interesting that
anti-severe?
they called
Different
them
spectrum.
stigmatism, and yet where does that word stigmatism come from? Does it come from
Stigmata.
stigmata? And stigmata has religious connotations. It's a
Sign.
yeah.
Well, it's in stigmatitis. You have too many cones. It's an excessive amount of too many optic nerves in the eyeball, and so wouldn't there be like some kind of connection to that? So like my cat has that, right?
Well,
and
you
it
can
causes her
go.
to do this.
What are cones and what are rods?
Yeah.
Cones is your focus,
That's
your
it.
extreme focus.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
why
that's
too.
me.
Like you're like Paul is a very extreme focused person as well. When you're researching something, there's a focus there, which is this cone thing as well. But it's this wonderful play thing as well, because that's where like the observant nature in our right brain sort of adds to this, because you're focusing and relaxing and focusing and relaxing. It's when there's that when it's off balance a little bit, where that's not even, where you're more focusing than relaxing, that's where physical problems can happen as well. You know, but it's our nature as well, and it's our nature to sort of slowly deal with these things in different ways, because there's so many layers to it as well. So, and it's when we talk about eyes too, there's a nature of seeing. Like if you I was talking before about that site, if you see something you don't want to see, and we have a emotional response, we have a response to push that back, to ignore that, then a physical repercussion can happen from this as well, a degradation of the eyes. You know, I don't want to see, and that's basically the spell. I don't want to see.
Like a
Oh no,
psychosomatic.
I want to see. So that's the fix. Is another spell, is to cast another spell, and that's the will. I want to see, and that changes the program within your body as well.
And
A lot of
that's
times it's
shown
simple
in
things.
like that. That's something that
We're doing it naturally.
said. That's a spell that I cast on myself. A few years ago, I said I want to see the truth. Show me the truth. I want to see the truth. And
you literally opened yourself to it, and ever since that moment, you've found the truth more and more as a roller coaster, a ride going into it, because you've set that program.
It's like after I set that program is when I saw the woman.
It's basically the good spell of not setting you haven't set a program. You've released a whole bunch of programs. More to the point. Sorry. Yeah.
So
it was after that. Sorry, Paul, go on.
You know, with everyone that will say we're all electrical, blah, you know, all that stuff. We're all electrical. Now, I don't know if you guys know, you probably know more than me on this, because I didn't know this. You know what a capacitor is, especially in electrical terms? It's a device for storing electrical energy. So basically, like
energy.
Yeah, consisting of two conductors in close proximity to each other. Now, obviously, Callum will know, but do you want to see the symbol for it? And this blows me away.
Yeah, I know.
You read it?
I couldn't tell you what it is, but I know it when I see. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's a gateway.
What do you see?
It's a gateway.
It's a gateway. It's 11. It's a door.
It's two T's.
You know what I mean? So these are the things that's going in the video.
Two directions.
And we're basically, we all talk about it. We are electrical. So if we're storing energy like this, and
that's how our system works.
That's why a lot of the symbols in, the electrical terms match real life scenarios. Like I showed him the old circuit video about the transistors looking like Baphomet's horns and all that. So they put them there for a specific reason. Do you know what I mean? And that's what they're doing with this. They're showing you that obviously we're electrical.
I don't know if you've heard my theory, Paul, but I've got this theory that because we're crystalline beings, because according to the Jovian archives, there's the generators this narrative makes sense to me. It resonates with me. I can relate to it. This sense that there's 70% of the people here that are actually generators in their sacral chakra. They are generating chi, generating life force. And I think that's what we used to harness. We create the energy. We create the life force here on this earth. And that's what they've captured. That's what they've harnessed. They've given us a cheap version of what we create with electricity. You know, with this by burning fossil fuels, they create electricity, which is something that in its natural form, we're creating it piezoelectric. Every interaction that we have with each other, we're bouncing off each other, and we're either creating good energy or bad. It's either positive or negative.
That's the reason why we
I think it's a frequency.
65% crystal, our skeleton, all for that very fact. You got crystal in the pineal, you got crystal in your ears, your teeth's crystal, so on. It's in my, I don't know if you've watched my old video,
Christ,
Crystal Matrix.
Everyone is Christ. Crystal.
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 I said that in the video, and everyone was
all is L as
We're
well.
all liquid. You are
L is
liquid crystal.
as well.
Sorry, that's what I put in it. It's one of my, you know, when you do a video, it might not do as well as you think, but personally, it's one of my favorite ones. And so it shows you about everything being crystal, you know, and that's why the energy, because obviously it's best for focusing. Like we just said, like batteries. I'm just trying to find something that I can't remember putting that video a long time ago, but it's just what Richard said then. It just so funny when you get to things just come to you.
There's your earthing upside down, right? That's the earthing
symbol. Yeah, it's similar to that, yeah.
That's an antenna the other way around. So an antenna is a tree, but there's gaps in the tree. Yeah. It's interesting that they're opposite symbols, right? Antenna and earth. Yeah. And it also shows you in that symbol that the deeper you go down has an effect. Because people think that an earth is an earth, and it's not. You know, the deeper you go down, the stronger the earth or the negative, right?
And is that
so? It's the same as like when you go up. You know, every meter is $100.
That's why they portray hell as down there. That's negative, hell, and up there as positive. That's heaven. Heaven's a very positive place, full of positive and higher frequencies.
There you go. I found it at last. It only took me ages because when I was doing my doorway video,
chi is a door. 101. Look at that. It's not just 11. It's 101 as well.
Because obviously I have a little bit of time put into researching certain someone and doors and things like this. And it's like, this is what I'm going with this video, in a sense, looking at inside of us, because there's lots of talk about individual cells being doors. Think about it. If you open enough doors, you create a draft, you create a flow. Yeah. So they want to shut doors or open certain doors. That's why acupuncture and things like that works.
Yeah, portals. So if you control the portal, you can close down the portal. So they
and he accidentally he's the god of portals as well. It's so funny when you talk to people and they don't, you know, when they post, and obviously these are just my opinions, and this is just, you know, opinion. We all have an opinion. Doesn't mean it's fact. But when people are talking about this, and you say, yeah, that's Janos. Why? Because they say, do you know what I mean? I've had big channels, and I'm not saying who they are, because people have messaged me saying, you know, huge channels, bigger than mine, and they've asked them to look into Janos, and they said no, it's insignificant. That's just like when you type it into Google, that's what it basically gives you. I'm like, these people are going around like they're enlightened and all this, and it's a really big channel. I'm like, come on, you know what I mean?
You're missing a massive part of it. Yeah.
I think the Janus thing is basically like Jesus, basically. Like the story of Jesus is, as far as I'm concerned, it's a story about us. We the Christ consciousness. We've all got the potential to be. We're the brothers and sisters of Jesus. However you want to think about it, that's the story of us. That's our potential. That's the potential that we have. But maybe in the same sense, we are all, each one of us is a representation of Janus, because we're all capable of being two-faced.
For all you guys out there who like that topic,
there are two sides to us. There's there's the spiritual side and the physical side. That's two faces. That's two faces that we hold. I have my physical face and my spiritual face. There's like you say with the capacitors, it's the number 11. We are. What if it is basically, and you know how they've twisted everything? They twist it to become a love thyself. They've turned love thyself into worship thyself, and basically turned self-love into narcissism. Flipped it, and that's the duality of self-love.
Self-centered.
If people are wondering why I just showed you that, because I don't know what you guys in the States or Australia have, but in the UK we have a tradition. Every first day of every month, you go white rabbit. It's supposed to bring you good luck.
I always did pinch and a punch. I didn't know white rabbit
for the first day of the month. Yeah.
A certain god. Sorry, go ahead. Has every first day of every month too, because he's in charge of the calendars. People don't realize the zodiac and everything he's in charge of. You know what I mean? So, according to the Romans and blah blah, who else? You know what I mean? It's not like, I'm not saying it's Z, but he stands on the calendars, which is the zodiac. You know, the zodiac is a house. You have houses. Yep. What does a house have? It has a door.
And there's other houses, and related in astrology. I'm learning about that. Like I just did my Vedic chart. The different numbers and everything with that. That's interesting. In the US, though, we don't do that on Thursdays. The only thing, and I don't know if you guys do this, is like when you're at a campfire and the smoke is coming your direction, is blowing at you. You say something about, I hate white rabbits. I feel like I hate white rabbits. I think you say it 3 times in a row. You're supposed to say it or something like that.
That's interesting.
I'm messing it up. It'll come to me.
There is actually there's a physics behind why the smoke is attracted to the people. There's a physics behind it. So it'd be interesting if saying that actually works and stops the air movement.
I feel like it did. I've been in front of a lot of campfires.
It's because of the airflow that's caused by the temperature, like the heat that's coming off of us as people. That's also traveling up into the air, up into the up into the sky, and it's that movement. It's just that movement of air that sucks it. That if the smoke catches it, it moves into that movement and gets drawn towards you. That's why that happens. So
you could that's why that topic. People always ask me all the time, like, why did you research it? Because I've known you guys, and we've all got our own topics and different things, but it's like I found the Swiss Army knife. For me personally, on my journey, I found like the skeleton key. You know what I mean? And then you think,
but that's why I asked, though. That's why I asked. Like, you've made all the connections, you can see it, but do you does that? How has that helped you understand what's happening now? And if knowing that can change anything, does knowing how, like, the trick allow us to change reality? Can we claim back power, knowing that they've hidden this Janus? How do we use this knowledge to benefit how we move forward? Because it's one thing to see it and go, that's what, but what does that, how does that equate to your actual
this is
real
how
life?
I look at it, and obviously we'll look at it all differently. We've got all our what we think, but think about it. When we try to help someone, if you don't help yourself, there's no point in you going helping anyone else. First of all, you've got to look after yourself.
Yeah,
that's key. That's key, because then you have the confidence, and then you know you feel good.
Exactly.
But isn't it? There's no point in helping someone else if you're not listening to your own,
you really can't.
advice or what. So look after yourself first. And I always say, we have a torch on your phones and different things. If you go into a dark room, you put your torch on, you can see a little bit. Once if some guy or lady walks in beside me and she's got a brighter torch or a different type of bulb, she can see further. Hence, while that's why I say about the observer effects and different things is, let's just concentrate on ourselves, shining our light. You can call it a your torus field, a toroidal. It's got tor in it. That means door in German, and pole. Oh, who's got of that again? You know what I mean? And it actually looks like two faces in the circles that we see. But you shine your light, you shine your light, you shine your light. Eventually, these paths will cross. You know what I mean? The field of light.
I see more because you see more.
Yeah, and this is all basically, we've each one of us has got pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah,
but that's all we've got. We've just got pieces. I've got my pieces. You've got your pieces. Callum's got his. Sarah's got hers. We've all got pieces, and we just need to sort the pieces out. Find out who's got the edges and the corners, and
that awareness is key. I mean, you go like, what's missing in this picture as well? Like I can see a lot of the times, so like Janice is two faces, but a lot of times you're seeing one face, or one door or one perspective. Whereas if you know about it, and you're automatically looking to balance it and see the other side of it as well.
I think what's interesting.
Okay, to look at that.
Janice originally had 4 heads, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It's both. So he'll be portrayed as 2-head or 4-head as well as the full, which is full. Yeah, that's 4 directions. Yeah.
And that's it does feel like it comes down to balance.
Yeah. But you're looking at the center, the balance, and Janus is the balance. Every other god or whatever too stems from it, is outside, is a iteration of a reflection out.
It's the whole polarity concept. It's It's just like,
and that's where we are too. We are all Janus as well. So we have
exactly. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we all have Janus inside us. We've all got this. Portals.
Yeah, I mean, what's the Bible to? Bible is 2 gates as well. That is one definition or of interpretation of the words as well. 2 gates.
Yeah.
You always see the 2 doors
named after him. You know what I mean? it just makes me. Sometimes I have to like pinch myself or send something to someone saying, "Please tell me I'm not so what." Because sometimes you're like, "Is this that obvious?" You know what I mean? But that's because I've researched it enough. Go on,
you see the connections are there already.
Yeah, I have those moments. I'm like, it can't be this simple. And in some of the manifestation abilities I've discovered, I'm like, really? And I almost don't believe it. But then the minute you doubt it, I've noticed there's like a whole flip, and it's like I have to revamp it back up, like the throwing thing you were talking about, right?
I think I was about 10 or 11 years old the first time I said this, but I've said this many times ever since that. Like when I was a little kid, I remember driving in the car. I forget where we were going. I was talking to my dad or to my parents. They were sat in the front, and I said, it's going to be really, really simple. What's going to be simple? The answer to the meaning of life. The answer to the meaning of life. It's going to be so bloody
42.
simple that none of us can see it. And we're not going to believe it because it's so simple.
Well, it is simple, isn't it? I mean, it's right there in the words. Mean means middle.
Yeah.
What's the meaning of life? What's the middle of life? Well, you are.
Yeah. And the word, remember, word means door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Words open doors.
You know what I mean? And,
I love that word is an anagram of door, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's of the old spelling of door.
Yeah, the Proto-Indo-European.
DOWR or DORW, whatever it was.
Also means oak. You know what I mean? So, and then obviously we have all the people's beliefs on tree of life, Idrisil, etc., all about a huge tree. You know what I mean?
Well, and then there's the symbolism of the tree. So you've got the tree, and the tree has its roots, and the family tree. There's so much.
The idea of the lungs, the ebb and flow, of it. Yeah. The system, the fact that they're all rooted. So it's like, that you could technically, right, you could see the root system of a tree. If you flipped it upside down, you could actually visually see it. But like, what if as humans we're all connected in that way, but we just can't see it? It's a grid-like system. We've talked about this, right?
It's just crazy because people are talking about in the chat like keys and different things, and it's like, well, Janos's other name is Portas, a port. So where you drop off, your transitional goods, a port. But a port also is another word for a port on a smaller scale is a key. So you got a key on a port meaning the same God, yet it's just crazy when you just look at it this way. And also the old word for a tree was a port, it was shelter, and it was, protection. You know what I mean? So of a huge tree, when you're going back into biblical terms, or these super giant trees. And you know what I mean? It's just, I just get excited. You know what I mean? People get excited at easy things. I just get excited just researching, and I get
me too. That when I watch your videos, it's the same thing because it's like, oh. So I feel that.
I tell you, it's most of the time it's like, no fucking way. This as well. Yeah. This goes back. It's like everything. Look, the number 11.
When people are talking about this isn't an old video, and it's been given the rounds lately because it accidentally went, so you can see. Look at me to get a comment now. Get off the screen. So you can see that. That's the old picture of it from above.
Yeah.
Right?
What's that? What is that?
The Georgia Guidestones.
Oh, yeah.
What's that stain on top? Does that not look like a sacrificial blood stain? I never saw that before.
Yeah, it does.
I think there was a video out about that. Yeah, that's
Oh yeah.
That is the room for life and death. The Wendy horn.
That's also an electrical symbol as well. I think.
Wait, did you say that's the Wendy hole, like the Wendigo?
Wendy horn. It's like Freya's symbol. It's life and death merged.
Is that the? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Know the Wendigo concept.
Yeah,
is there a relation?
Human flesh.
And so there is a relation with that symbol, right? Like, isn't that used in Native American culture? Looked
if there's an association. That's just like a Nordic ruin on about life and death. So there might be something in regard to the Wendy horn, as you can see.
I think, Paul, there's a
chance that
hang on a second. Used in Native American culture. Sorry, I really just wanted to
Wendy horn, Wendigo.
That's exactly what I was just saying. And I think that symbol in Native American, that same symbol is used for the Wendigo. I'm going to look it up right now just to verify that here. That's something that's talked about, I think, more in the
one in the middle. The one in the middle is the cross, the upside down cross.
Yeah, the Furka.
Who was it? St. Peter was crucified upside down.
The Furka cross is just basically the Y. And that is what a lot of the people were crucified on, not the actual cross that we're talking about. A furka, it's called. It's a Y.
Flux capacitor.
Yeah.
I mean, there's flux capacitor
That's
as well.
What I put in all my old videos with that, the furka and the Y. Obviously, Y for Janos, because that's how you do pronounce it still in Eastern Europe.
Well,
why the actual symbol has a bit of a story to it as well.
And remember, the letter J didn't exist until the 1500s.
Yeah, and the guy who invented it was a Jesuit called Janos.
And how was he called a Jesuit if the letter J didn't exist? What were they called before they were called Jesuits? They must have been called Jesuits with a Y.
Is it?
So I was wrong about the Wendigo technically, but here's that symbol right there, and it says,
you're seeing it it's the man, isn't it? It's the
powerful depiction.
What's a man? If there's a symbol similar, If you go down this screen, it says sacred symbol of a man, powerful depiction to, that's similar to the squatter man.
Yeah, the squatter man. That's it. The squatter
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Which is also a great big huge thing, isn't it? On a hill somewhere. There's a squatter man put on a hill somewhere, isn't there? Giant one in.
There's a lot of folklore with that giant living in the hills and the mountains. I mean, we have that in Lord of the Rings too.
The Wendigo though is not the same as Sasquatch, is it? The Wendigo is similar, the story, but it's more of a horror story with the Wendigo, isn't it? That Sasquatch is like the protector of the forest, whereas the Wendigo
Sasquatch is a mixed bag. There's some bad stories and some good, like some where there wasn't, but a lot of the time they're trying to like get in or they're causing some.
I just think they know. I just think that at a higher state, so if you know that humans, monsters, are easily frightened and you don't want to deal with them, you just frighten them off.
Frighten them off. Yeah. That's exactly what we do, isn't it? Because that's what we do. You're like, if you were, if
don't
you
want to deal with this,
I do this just like
camping with all your
vision
buddies,
that I can just push that.
They know nothing.
They
know nothing. They're on
they can't
auto.
touch me. I got a toroidal.
They're going to want to kill me, basically. Of course not. And I'm sure there's experience there as well, where it's like,
Think about that with animals in the wild. If you conduct yourself in a certain way and you come on non-threatening but also powerful at the same time, you can deflect without issue.
Yeah, it's called not being afraid. It's good
exactly
being called
exactly.
And we sort of we translate it as a kind of a respect.
There's a thieves cross. That's what they put thieves on, the furka.
Look at an animal whisperer. Do you think
they show that furka in
sorry, Paul, can you hold that up again?
You would say that one. I've just put it down.
Sorry.
That's what they put that guy on in Game of Thrones when he cuts his dick off.
Well, that's what they basically put a lot of people on in Roman times to crucify him.
Thieves cross, because they hung up the thieves on them, right?
So you can see how good this book is. You know what I mean? It goes into, these are all ancient symbols, medieval, and also, so I'm interested in. See, I've got loads of stuff like that. You've got this one called The Book of Signs by Rudolph. I've got The Time Traveler's Guide to Medieval England.
Cool.
You know what I mean?
Very cool. Yeah. Ooh, it's book sharing time. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, that looks really cool. Wait, what is that? Hold on, I gotta write that down.
It's like I've just been looking at symbols, and many like this because
have you broken down
video graffiti? Right? Okay.
Paul, have you
the lights and stuff I was programming have gobos, so symbols.
What's that?
And there's many like that, like knots, Celtic knots, and triangles. Yeah. It's like
have you broken down the word medieval?
I have in one of the books, yeah.
Medium.
Yeah.
And evil is not.
Is supposed to be middle and eval, but if you look at it as, remember, people don't forget that AL is also EL. Do you know what I mean? It's why the
electricity
airport is called et al. You know what I mean? So it's EL.
L Evan.
All. The all. All.
Yep. I've got
books.
It's like looking at things like castle and stuff like that as well. I reckon can be spelled both ways. LE.
Also feel like ruins. There's so many depictions of it. You know what I mean? That even some of the runes that gone, because they based it all off on the that Icelandic poet, and the poems. That's where they've got all the ruins from. But some people believe that what we all know is all depicted wrong. You know what I mean? So it's just a crazy world.
Ruin and rune.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, did we find them in the ruins,
Yeah.
We found the runes in the ruins. Oh, cool.
Em's going to share some pictures.
So you can see what I've got loads of books everywhere. That
Yeah, I'm jealous. I'm a little bit
I
jealous.
immediately was like, I have been stocking up on my sort of health related material, but this is obviously relevant, very interesting. So I decided to write some of the books you showed. I wrote down.
they've got them everywhere. It's because I just read and put things everywhere. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. No, this just shows you how in depth your research is too.
and
So everybody, this would be a good time for me to pull up Paul's channel here. Sorry.
But it's just like what we do. We all we'll read something. Each one of us could read something out one of those books, and we get a different interpretation.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's like the guy or the lady who wrote the book or wrote the book would have the same. It's their interpretation.
Yeah,
interpretation. Chinese whispers.
That's another thing that South Park covers in one of their episodes where they get to read The Catcher in the Rye. And Mr. Garrison says to them, this book was banned. And so they're all, oh, it was banned. It was banned. They read the entire book and they're really disappointed because they're like, they can't understand why the book was banned. So they write a book about Snotty McBoogaballs or something. And then because they think they're going to get in trouble, they say that that Butters wrote the book. And Butters gets lauded as some sort of amazing author. And the book starts winning Pulitzer Prizes and everything because it's so raw and it makes people puke up when they're listening to it. And so Butters writes they're listening to the reviews of that's it. Butters writes the next book. He writes a sequel to the book because the boys were all pissed off because Butters says, when they said that Butters wrote it because they wanted to put the blame on him, then it turns out he was going to get famous because of it. They're pissed off because they're like, no, we wrote the book. Then when Butters says he's going to write another book, they all relax and say, oh, it's okay because everybody will know when he's written this other book that he didn't write the first book. And then people start like they're critiquing the book and saying this is what they meant. And the boys are saying, no, that's not what we meant in the first book. We were just trying to be offensive. We were just, people read their own thing into stories. They read, they relate to stories in different ways, and they read different things into stories. They can all read the same narrative, but everybody gets something different from it. They relate to it in different ways. Some people, it's true. And that's the case with everything. There's every single thing that we any sort kind of stimulus that we come into contact with, we are all, every single one of us, going to perceive it differently.
Yep. And on that note, I will have to say goodbye.
Paul, thank you very much, dude.
Yeah,
thank you for gracing us, and we're very excited about the next one. Cannot wait.
That was a really good conversation, so please feel free to hop on again with us, please. Yeah,
you're welcome on any time, Paul.
If he'll just put my video back, but I'll still do it if I see you guys on again, which I probably will. Thanks for everyone in the chat, and for you guys to let me come on. I appreciate it. Take care and have a good weekend.
Take it easy, buddy. Have a brilliant weekend. Have a wonderful weekend, man.
Yeah.
I mean, on that note, guys, it is actually 12 minutes past 8. We've been going for just over 3 hours, and Flatterday starts at 9 o'clock with Martin Liedtke. And I think everybody pretty much probably wants to go and see Martin. And I need to take the dogs out and get some food and make some coffee and everything. So I don't know if you're ready to bring it to an end or if you guys want to carry on talking again. It's up to you.
Well, Callum, if you're available tomorrow, if you want to hop on, because we're going to do tomorrow too. So I'm going to say let's call it, just because Richie and I were talking about maybe not going 2 days in a row for 8 hours. I'll get caught up. My problem is I'll go with it tomorrow. And I need to. Same thing. The dogs are due for a walk. So.
I've got to get a show ready.
Cool.
Hopefully, I'll be done. I should be able to join in tomorrow night.
On that
For
note,
me.
then, guys,
That would be
we'll give a
great.
little
Yeah.
shout. We'll just give a little shout out to the chat room. Like, thank
Yeah.
you, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been definitely exactly what I wanted to do for the last 3 hours. Instead of sitting there trying to find something to watch. Callum, thank you very much, brother.
Yeah.
We'll
Much love.
see you soon. We'll see you soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
Sarah, we talk all the time, so I'll chat to you.
Yeah.
On the signal, we got a thing going on, right? And yeah, to everybody else, thank you very much. Much love.
Thank you
We'll
guys
see
so much.
We'll see you in the in Martin Lee. Well, hopefully, we'll see you in Martin Leaker's flat today at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And on that note, play us
It's
out.
4:44 a.m. right now. 4:44.
Brilliant.
It's beautiful.
All right, guys. Much love. Have a great weekend. We'll
Much
see you
love.
tomorrow. See you tomorrow.
In this life in the, what do you think you've learned?
Absolutely nothing. Well, I've tried to learn, but I'll calculate not a lot really. I've learned that you must treat people properly, and that you must proceed in a certain way, and you must try and have a vibe of how to sort of enjoy situations. So I've learned just to, don't get miserable or fight the misery with some intelligence. This is like the most difficult area of the whole malarkey, really. It's hard to turn something around when it's going. And it's not something that you can learn by well, as far as I can see, it's something that comes to you with a bit of luck and a bit of instinct, yeah? But therefore, it's not something you can ever bank on. I'm not smart enough to figure out what the hell it is or how it works at all, That's why I treat it like voodoo. I do find I still have a talent to cause a bit of, stir up a little bit of confusion, yeah? But I'll do what I can to create as much chaos as I possibly can. But my chaos is always well-natured, or has a positive goal at the end of it. When I start causing chaos in a situation, it's because the situation really needed to be changed, for example, or something is going to happen that I thought would be a good idea. And 9 times out of 10, I'm on it, I must say. But hopefully, that hasn't unjinxed. That hasn't unjinxed.